Just getting a prelim Q4 GDP reading here for the U.S. Higher than expected, 3.3% versus 2% consensus there. So once again, we're still seeing some underlying strength in the overall U.S. economy, 3.3%. Again, that's just an early look on the Q4 GDP print. We also get the initial jobless claims numbers coming in a little bit higher, 214,000 versus 200,000 expected. Forecast 192,000 there for initial jobless claims. Wholesale inventories 0.4% to the upside. Continuing claims there 1.8 million, 1.83 million versus 1.82 million expected. We are getting, that's a quarterly PCE number that we got there, 2% in line. We are getting the month over month more closely watched number on the PCE side of things tomorrow morning at 8:30. New home sales data to come later in the morning as well at 10 o'clock. We're watching this one, Tesla downside in a big way coming off that earnings report, a warning from Elon. Growth going to be a little bit slower than expected for the remainder of this year. We'll touch on that. We'll touch on semiconductors as we switch focus now to Intel coming off, if you remember last week, a huge report from TSMC. So we'll see how Intel does. More negativity for Boeing as well. Airlines upside though. It's Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. A lot of strength there for the U.S. economy. Early look on the Q4 GDP growth rate for the U.S., 3.3%, expected 2.3%, so full percent still to the upside. If you remember the end of last year, we got that final print for Q3 of 2023 that was still 4.6 or 4.8%. So we are coming in a little bit from that last overall print. But again, that's still a preliminary look. So we'll keep an eye on what is to come on that side of things. We're going to have Rahim Alani is going to come by this morning and touch on, well, obviously we're going to be talking about Tesla. We're going to be talking about EVs in general. The rest of the group getting hit on this earnings number this morning for Tesla. But he's going to bring a few ideas on the battery side of things and the mining side of things this morning. So 8:45 we'll have Rahim with us. But happy Thursday.
Oh, thank you. Happy Thursday to you as well. Yeah, I didn't get to hear the earnings call yesterday, Brendo, but it didn't seem like he focused a lot on the macro issues like he did last time, blaming interest rates for the decrease in sales. This time, he's saying he's in a transitionary period between the scaling that he did for the Model 3. Now he's going to have to scale the Cybertruck and the new Model 2. So they're kind of like in a transition to be expected.
Yeah, interesting spot here for the company. We've been touching on the fact that if you zoom out a little bit, this thing's done basically nothing in the past few years, you know, just chopping around within a range. So, yeah, I was just listening to a clip of Elon on the call last night, and he basically said everyone's going to panic this morning because the stock's down, but he said just buy more, it's fine.
Alfred's salivating.
Right. Morning, guys. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Happy white shirt day at the desk as well. Looking sharp up there, boys. I mean, like, Elon said buy more. I know you got to fill. My stink bid's not filled. But, you know, stranger things have happened. Alfred apparently is happy that Tesla's going to the downside. But that GDP number, like 3.3 versus 2, yeah, when we're looking for reasons for the Fed to cut, that's probably not going to be one of them. But look, there's more data to come. Like PCE is going to be more important than that. So you got a lot to lock and load in on because everyone's going to be looking at Tesla and EVs. And by the way, Tesla, sure, it hasn't been that good. It's been going flat as Brendan mentioned, even in a bit of a downtrend. But compared to the other EV names, its chart is like a ray of sunshine compared to some of the other EV names out there. We got the chips back in play. Intel after the bell tonight. Lam beat top and bottom. But after what ASML did, they're barely up because all the chips were so strong yesterday. So we're going back to that. Well, not to pick on it, but I noticed an interesting double bottom forming on AMC. Post-split low within, I think it's within 8 cents of the $4 level. Yesterday, GameStop broke a low. Today, AMC could be breaking a low. I haven't talked about them in a while. And if it breaks that low, we won't be talking about them for the good reasons at all.
Look, there's, welcome everybody. Yeah, thank you so much. We had our, again, some of the largest viewership for the market recap show. There we go. How'd you know that was coming, Fabian? There last night. So I want to thank everybody for supporting that. And we had Tesla earnings. But the thing is like, as Neil just mentioned, this Rivian, like there's reasons why I haven't been buying any of these. I still think the market's correcting. I told you yesterday I sold some stuff. So, you know, like we mentioned, sell stuff to put money somewhere else. Won't be in Rivian yet, but that just broke through 15. So that's like a big level there. I feel like once we get down to 12, 13, you could have some buy opportunities. So that's one. And then honestly, on this stick, you know what? It's just going to be Tesla short. I don't really care what Elon's saying right now. Unfortunately, we've broken well below that 208 support level that I thought was there, and it was there, but not anymore. It just slices through everything. We talked about this yesterday on the show, and there it goes, man. I can't believe that yesterday we were short all afternoon, right into here, 208, 209, 210, only to see this happen right now. So congratulations. We'll have Danielle Shea on the after show as well tonight, which will be big. So join me on that for 4 o'clock. We'll talk all about Tesla. If you don't know anybody that was short, she was short Tesla. So congratulations to Miss Danielle Shea on that call. She's been talking about that for a couple weeks. Join me tonight and I'll discuss her option plays and what she's doing with that position as well. So, hey man, it's another big day around here, and trade accordingly. Bitcoin's still at 40,000.
All right, a couple other things moving around here, kind of interesting. Market liking this jobless claims number and that early GDP look. Again, if you missed it, a little bit higher than expected. For the early look on the Q4 GDP, 3.3% still south of the border, so good look. 1% here downside for Mobileye, not necessarily EV, but close enough. Not a lot of volume behind this, but they also reported after the close yesterday. So initial move was higher for Mobileye, but there was some concerns on their report as well.
Well, the revenue, Brendo, increased 13% year over year to about $637 million. Operating income also improved significantly versus the fourth quarter of 2022. Future business backlog continues to grow, so they're signing new contracts with more vehicle makers. I know that they have a contract with GM and Ford. We'll have to see how they do, but yeah, interesting day for today for Mobileye.
Yeah, hanging on to, I was trying to reload this chart so we can have a look. It's not working right now. Yeah, that's the overall market, but let's go MBLY back to a monstrous level down here. This is another one that has come off significantly, 44 all the way down to basically where it began, back to its IPO price here for Mobileye.
Yeah, we were just chatting with Raheem is going to be
He was in a building,
there.
and he's a Ravens fan. So I was like, congratulations, you got the last team standing. So we'll wait.
The last level standing for Mobileye, well, okay, it's not technically the last level standing, but it's down far enough that it's, I suppose, it's close enough. The good news for Mobileye, and obviously they're going to be EV adjacent, which, you know, that's a beaten up industry. The good news for them is, you know, when they came up with that guidance that squashed the stock, it had bounced from 27. So now that you get back to 27, it's only down 1% on earnings because of what already happened to it earlier in the month. Had it not been for that, like, you know, this would be trading in the 30s, and then it would be looking like an abject disaster instead of just down 1%. But it's still going to be about this local bottom. The all-time low is just underneath 25. So 27, 25, I'm not sure it can hold on to the 27 level if the EV space in general continues to tank. But the all-time, obviously, you know, this was a company before that, but since the IPO bottom is just underneath the $25 level, I think that's the Alamo for Mobileye. But everything in this, everything that's even touching the EVs is just getting absolutely demolished right now. And I think you almost want to have that approach of short the group until it proves otherwise. You can have gimmick bounce plays, like maybe Tesla bounces off the SSR number. I think it's like 187.75 today. You know, maybe Mobileye gives you a nice bounce off that 25 because it's the all-time low. They warned of the slowing growth. They've even come out and said, so everything was as they basically said it was going to be, but you're still looking at a rough year from MBLY. I need to see some buying before I get convinced that this is ready for a turnaround. I won't be the one just sort of hoping at this bid at 27.
Yeah, I didn't read anything about Mobileye. I'm just looking at this. Obviously, look how disastrous it is. This is why when you get that warning and they come out, and we'll probably hear more, right? They didn't lie. So there it is, all the way to the downside. If you're able to get out somewhere in here, 40, 38, congratulations. They came out. I think it was this move though. There's almost no way to have gotten out, because I feel like it was this day that they dropped their earnings warning, I guess, on there. So it went from 39 to 30, but still was a good out on that bump back up to 32. Yeah, as Neil mentioned, it's only 56,000 shares. I didn't even think they reported, to be honest with you. It was only 56,000 shares. I was like, oh, the report's not out yet. So, but yeah, downside push. For me, no volume, and plus it's earnings. So I don't trade stock on earning day other than Tesla, which will be today.
They did more
Rahim is here, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. We were just having a conversation about infrastructure still is going to be one of the keys when it comes to electric vehicles. You know, and you made the case of if we get to a point where there's autonomous EVs driving around in a city like Toronto, like New York, like whatever, pick your major metropolitan area, the infrastructure for them to at some point during the day go and take an hour off to recharge is still far out, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's been the story around the autonomous vehicles and everything that's happening in the electric vehicle space is the sentiment around wanting this exists, certainly. But what I think doesn't exist is the infrastructure to do that. Now, if you have a vehicle that's running around making deliveries, 30 different deliveries, he's not going to stop at a building outside here, charge for 7 minutes, get back on the road after he makes his delivery. He's going to have to pull over and stop somewhere for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, A. And B, where is that somewhere? It's not going to be right in the middle of downtown Toronto or in the middle of Manhattan, or it's going to be very expensive to do so. So it's going to be interesting to see how those things come into play, because I think that's where all of this is going is you can, like Elon was talking about yesterday, and in terms of margins and in terms of cuttings on the vehicle side. It's not necessarily the vehicle side, it's more so what can I do with my vehicle once I have it on the road.
Yeah, the other side of this conversation, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, is the hybrid side of things, because as you were saying, you know, just before we came on there was this huge push for EV, EV, EV. Let's get as much battery production going as we possibly can, because this is just going to explode. We've seen some of the manufacturers, Toyota, the main one, I guess, pounding the desk on let's pump the brakes here a little bit on the full EV side of things, but focus maybe on hybrids. Still have batteries in them.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, we were just talking about it. Hertz the other day announced that they're going to be cutting their fleet of pure EVs and going back to some combustible engine ones. And I think we will see a bit of a mix. I think we did a little bit over-index on the desire and the want for EVs to perforate the entire economy. But at some point, you're going to have a little bit of both until you have that infrastructure that can support a full EV economy. And I think we're getting there, and steps are being taken. And you know, listen to people at Davos and all those things. Those things are being taken, but I still think we're getting a lot of copper, a lot of zinc, a lot of things to make that part of the world work the way we want it to go full EV. So I think there is going to need to be sort of that stepping stone to get there, and that might be, like you talked about, the hybrids.
Yeah, we'll get into a few ideas here as always, but just quickly, thoughts on Tesla's earnings across the board in the call last night, if you caught it.
Yeah, so I think the sort of consensus is obviously they missed, obviously, and it's been interesting to see after each quarter. Stock prices dropped somewhere between 9.3 and 9.7% on each after each quarter, and like you talked about last night, it dipped below $200 last night after market. So I think people were looking for just Elon's commitment to what he was going to do with this versus his other ventures that he's got. Yeah. There are concerns that he did state around the international access, particularly with China, and if there are no trade barriers put in place, then China will sort of overrun the market. So he will be facing, Tesla will be facing competition in China and in other markets specifically. And if those vehicles start to come into the North American markets, that could also have a big impact on where they're going. The good thing is that they, again, focused on margins, and we're worried about sort of 24 because they didn't actually give guidance for the first time in a long time.
Interesting going into a political year in the U.S.
Yeah.
as well that he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a few individual names here. These are going to be related to the EV space or have something to do with it anyways. NFI Group in Toronto. These are all daily charts that I'll throw up here for it as well. So around that 1250 area. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, it's just over $1 billion and a half dollars, has traded between $7 and $14.5, and New Flyer is in the bus space. And so they are getting the electrical vehicles, the buses out there into the world, which is a good thing for all people that we've talked about. And they have started to build that infrastructure. And the good thing for them is they have been able to tap into that U.S. credit that's become available through all the various clean initiatives in the U.S. So they do have an $8 billion backlog. They did deliver over 1,200 units in Q4 and 4,000 in the year. The stock did take a bit of a hit about 8 days ago, if you look at the daily there. And that was just because they had their Q4s come out. Revenue did look good. They maintained their guidance of 3.2 to 3.6 billion. But EBITDA, they did take the guidance down from 250 to 300 to down to 240 to 280. So there is a bit of a concern there on the EBITDA, but the stock looks like it'll drop back after that.
This is kind of a boring space, let's be honest, but you know, you're even seeing like the TTC here in Toronto starting to make that switch over to more hybrid buses, more fully electric buses. I even saw a billboard the other day that I think it was 2035 or 2040. They want to be completely emission-free for the Toronto Transit Commission. So it's not only Toronto going to be doing that. Obviously, you know, it's a wider market.
Yeah, no, it is in theory a boring space. Like if I told you I sold 1,200 units of something last quarter, you'd say that's great. How are you in business? But if you're selling 1,200 buses, I mean, there is a bit of a difference. So obviously the gestation period on their sales are going to be a little longer. Yeah. And again, if there are these impetuses into different parts of, particularly in the U.S., where there is so much money being put into the electrification of vehicles, and things around mass transit are where those bigger ticket items are going to be.
Yeah. LEV, Lion. Tell us about that one.
Same thing with Lion, right? They are in the bus, specifically in the school bus space. They added 50 school buses just recently. They're also focused on urban trucks. They've got their own infrastructure that they're building. Trades around $1.75. Trades between $1.50 and $2.25 over the course of the year. 400 million market cap company. So it's a smaller play. But again, same thing. They have gotten into the U.S. The EPA put out $1 billion for 67 companies to access for school buses, and they picked up 97 school buses there out of the 2,200 that the U.S. gave money out for. So a good little win for them.
Yeah. If your risk tolerance is a little bit higher, then let's talk about this Steer Technologies on the Venture Exchange. Kind of a crazy story.
Yeah, Steer has had a crazy story. It's one that we get asked about a fair bit because of A, it's got an ESG level play, and B, the stock chart. If you look at the last 5-year chart, it's quite wild. But in the last couple of weeks, they have righted the ship here. And the stock, after tax loss selling, the stock went from about 6, 7, 8 cents. It's gone up to about 35 cents currently. So over the last couple of weeks, you've made a nice run on some decent volume in the space. They are focused on the ESG side, deliveries, cars, food. They do have a food business that they also announced that they will be spinning out. So they raised a little bit of money on a convertible debenture, and they did announce that they're going to be dividending out up to 78% of their food delivery business, which is doing quite well from what I understand. So it'll be an interesting stock to see how it moves, but it has had a nice almost 3-4 bagger in the last couple of weeks.
I want to touch on, we're talking EV, so let's touch on a few lithium related names as well. I want to make sure we get to LAC, but this PMET, interesting look on a daily chart as well.
Yeah, like we have talked about, there are different types of batteries. Everyone has sort of gone all in on lithium, and if you believe in lithium, then obviously do your homework on the different countries. Chile is very big on lithium, and then there are different countries like Australia, Canada, the DRC that have different components that are going into different batteries. And the lithium market has taken a big, hit of recent, because I think people just, again, sort of over-indexed on how much they thought lithium would be, and some mines have actually just stopped production like right away. I think the response time is fairly quick on these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's, I mean, people are smarter than us that are doing that. But it is interesting to see how fast that move has happened. Trafigura had something with their lithium traders as well recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, PMET's one that had a nice, very nice run up into the $17 range off its low of $6, trades just shy of $7 right now. And they just announced their work at their Quebec site, just some more drilling results that are happening there.
All right, Fabian, listen up, because we're going to talk about LAC, Lithium America. This one spun off their, was it the
Argentinian
operations?
Yeah.
So there's LAC and then there's LAAC.
Yeah, so we have talked about LAC
yeah.
before, because I know you have a great fondness for it, so I have tried to bring that up for you whatever I can. So LAAC is one that we have not gotten a chance to speak about.
That one then. Let's talk about that.
So LAAC, for those like Brendan that are watching, they will be announcing their own independent financials third week of March, so keep an eye out to what they are doing. They have just announced some results at their Argentinian site. They are above where they guided. So they guided for 5,000 tons and they just hit 6,000 tons. So that's good to see some drill results that are happening there. The stock is, what, 650 off a low of 585 and was up to about 1450. So it'll be interesting to see how, again, with the lithium story, how they're impacted with the lithium story. They are doing, from what it appears, good work at their site in Argentina. And so depending on your take on lithium and how they as a standalone company do, maybe tune in about 6 weeks to see what their financials look like.
I know there was some initial confusion around what happened with that and why. It seemed to come out of nowhere that they spun off that part of the business. Not to put you on the spot, but was there any detail as far as why that happened with those two and now there's the two separate entities?
Well, the canned line that anyone will give when it comes to why did we spin out an asset, it's because we wanted to unlock shareholder value. So that's the obvious canned answer. But to be honest, I mean, you've got two lithium assets in two different countries, and the focus being, let's just make one Americas and make one the focus of being South America. They had spoken about it, I don't know for how long, because I didn't keep on top of the story as much as people that were directly involved or invested in the story. But again, it was more so just lithium's hot. We've got two different, essentially two different geographical diversification strategies going. So we should, in theory, just split them into two so that if you like lithium and you like the Americas side, then here's one. And if you like lithium and you like the South America side, and here's Argentina and here's another. So I think that was just sort of like a, 1 + 1 should equal 3 for them.
Right. And they were in line for, at the end of last year, that big project, I think it was in Nevada, that the U.S. government was looking to throw
supporting,
yeah. And nothing ever came of that I saw from their standpoint.
No, nothing that they've announced.
Right. Okay, great stuff. Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups in Toronto. Good to see you.
Anytime.
Ayo.
Thank you very much there, Raheem, as always. And look, it's the market definitely, after that GDP number, yeah, we were headed to the upside a little bit here. Like the NASDAQ just got to 0.5%. AMD is now up since 8:30, almost $1, actually more than $1.50. You're getting a huge run here. Obviously, AMD was a rocket ship yesterday. You saw the chips yesterday.
Because you would eat their lunch.
Absolutely insane. So this has got to be, once again on watch, going to have to revise some dip buy numbers on AMD because you can have a plan of action before 9:30 that involves sort of like yesterday's price levels, and maybe they don't come back in again. I saw in the chat that it was mentioned someone waiting for a firm to get higher. Yesterday was the first day that no one on the desk traded a firm for the entire year. But if it does make another pop, the top yesterday was about 43.75. I got my eyeballs on that particular area. If this market strength continues, there are some names that we've liked for some fade trades that can come into play. So yeah, 8:30 drove the markets higher, except for Tesla, which is still right down at that bottom at 9%, no change.
So I'm already short Apple right now, and I just want to say about that Affirm, man, just congratulations to everybody. I've been getting lots of messages about those of you that were short off that $50 call. So a lot of you have covered. I think that's the right move. I mean, right now you're bouncing off the 50-period moving average right here. Obviously, we'd like to see a break of 39.50. That's really where we start to go to the downside now. You're up 3%, but this is what I've been telling people again. this is where, you know, you want to look to get out, right? That's just like a great call, and you want to make sure that you're able to cash out on that one. And it's the same thing with Coinbase. This is going a little further than I had thought when we had talked about this short as well, up here at 180 into the 130. But it's just like it's barcoding here as well, down at 120, 121, 122. So it's like at some point you got to start to ring the register. And that brings me over to my other trade that I'm in right now is Apple. Apple is an absolute monster off that 200 period moving average. It came back in right there, you know, to 181, 182, and it is just ripping right now. Like, this has been a great story, a great move. One of the best names, obviously, to be in. And, you know, it's not taking out the highs like NVIDIA, AMD, Meta, at Microsoft, you know, all the other names. I just think it might have gone a little too far, too fast over the last couple of days. We're short here against 195, but ultimately my punch out is 196. So you see Apple's high there yesterday, in and around. I mean, sure, off the open we were a little bit higher than that, but we didn't really get going through 196. So I'm going to continue with that play until we do break higher. But look at this NASDAQ, man. The GDP number was monstrous, up to 3.3%. All of you that thought there was a recession, obviously that's not going to be happening. Up to 17.7 now. The NASDAQ just keeps on trucking. I mean, you know, we all thought that this was going to be a down, you know, potentially we could have a move down in January. Yeah, that lasted 3 days. At the beginning of the year. Here's a little bit of a move down, obviously, and then we just whoop all the way back up and looking to take out highs right now of 17.8. So I feel like the NASDAQ, I tweeted it out, will probably open up at highs, and we'll see if it holds. I say it doesn't. You know, we'll give the bears a little bit of something to hang their hat on with Tesla today, but I'm going to be short Apple until it gets to 196.
Like Saturday morning or so. All right, a few things of interest. We'll get some upgrades and downgrades here with Adira in a second, but there's a lot, to say the least, negative analyst talk on Tesla to be expected this morning. I even saw a few analysts touching on the EV space in general as a whole. And I mean, just going back to what Raheem was just talking about, in the sense that maybe we kind of overshot the targets a little bit here and things are coming back to earth a little.
Yeah, and you're seeing that, like your discussion with him about Toyota and how refocusing, I should say, on hybrids and trying to kind of bridge the gap between ICE and electric. I mean, it was almost felt like a foregone conclusion that we were going to skip the hybrid stage. We weren't going to mass produce hybrids. It was going to be a jump from ICE to electric. We'll have to wait and see whether that can get done. A lot of logistical issues blocking us, Brendo. Yeah. The mining issue, the interest rates are a little hampering right now. So we'll have to wait and see.
And maybe there's already too much, you know, supply for these batteries as it stands right now. So as I mentioned, let's get some upgrades and downgrades. Adira has that over at the green screen.
Yeah, lots of interesting earnings-related plays here on the upgrades list, getting kicked off here by Netflix. Price target of $600 here from DZ Bank. RTX getting an upgrade from BofA Securities here, trading a bit higher. Lam Research with an upgrade from TD Cowen, and Bloom Energy with an upgrade from BTIG Research here. Downgrades, Boeing leading the pack, downgrade from BofA Securities, price target of $215, trading significantly lower. More news here with Boeing and the FAA also leading this one to the downside today. Tesla here getting a downgrade from TD Cowen, price target of 180, one of several price target decreases after earnings yesterday. Hertz getting a downgrade here from JP Morgan Chase, and last but not least, D.A. Davidson downgrading Columbia Bank, guys.
Bucks. Oh man, we're distracted now. Well, that was upgrades and downgrades. Thanks, Raheem, for that one. Cheers, Randy. We were just talking about his Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
And I'm going to wish them best of luck because I think they're one of the most legit teams left, right? I mean, I think Kansas City obviously has its holes there. We'll see if P. Mahomes can pull a rabbit out of the hat one more time.
Do they need to if the refs are in their favor? The answer is possibly. We'll see.
Right. I think all that is. Yeah, hey, man, I told everybody this is Taylor Swift era. I mean, we all knew that.
But that's why the NFL wants KC in the Super Bowl so that Taylor Swift can be at the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
Or she could just go.
Well, she could also just go, but you know what's going to be up.
She turned down the halftime show like every single year.
She won't do the halftime show until she's in the. You do it in the later stages of your career. Yeah. You don't do that when you. Come on, son. You don't get paid for that. So the only good thing about BA is Baltimore, not Boeing. I don't know, man. Boeing. Look, we had a good bounce, and now you get the issues with So the planes are grounded. We all know about this. And now all of a sudden, it's like you're going to have a slowdown in getting ramped up back into production. And it's probably a good thing in the long term. They're going to be eyeballs. FFA is going to be literally like on the line, like with a microscope, looking at everything to make sure everything is good. That is probably a good thing for them. But none of these things are good for the bottom line or good for the stock. It tried to break that 217. Remember we were talking about the 217? Can it get through that on the recovery? It tried at the end of the day and failed. And now you're gapping back underneath. So it's once again looking like a short. If we see 217 again, that's probably a fade. Same thing with if you go into the afternoon top, like this 213 level underneath where it would have to go green at 214. Like any pop in there, I'd be looking to fade in front of the close price and then that 217 level on Boeing. So unfortunately, it feels like a little bit more of the same here for them, down that 2.5%. Maybe you can bounce off 200 a second time. That would provide some real strength for the stock, but down 2.5 points. If there is a pop, I'd be looking to pop and fade. But we like a few pop and fades here today.
All right, we're short Tesla right now, and we're short Apple. We're not playing around. It's 9 o'clock. Boeing, look, the Boeing trade to me is the same trade that I've been giving for a couple minutes, and it was just buy down here. First of all, Tesla's wild right now. Like, it was just 50 cents in the money. Now it's coming back up, obviously, on earnings. So I really like this trade on Boeing. What the trade I feel like it is you buy in and around here. It's getting close to it right now. If you can even get that bottom wick, 203, 204, something like that, you'll probably get it today. I like the long against this 175. I said yesterday, there's not too many names that are below or even near their October bottom right now. I like Boeing. I mean, I feel like they'll get the okay again, and then this will happen all over again. You know, this is what happens. It's a hard stock. It's kind of like Tesla. Like, it's a hard stock to stomach. Like, you got to go up, down, and around. It's like, you know, once you get like this kind of a period, maybe that's when you got to realize that something's going to happen to Boeing. And maybe this is when you start to, you know, gather some calls or puts. But, you know, right here, it's a big move up. It's a big move down. I think you can buy Boeing here against 200. So what you do is you buy it, then you have a $25 bottom. If it goes down there, you lose your 10% or a little more than that, 15%. But I feel like you can get back up to the upside, and all you have to do is get back to the 50-period moving average. So let's wait. They got good news and bad news. It was the grounding of one of them and then an approval of another one. So there's a couple mixed stories in there. Boeing's only down 2.5%. I still think it works. I like to buy this name, just like we talked about with the EV space, right? There's going to be a couple names. Tesla, BYD might be the survivors. No matter what happens to Boeing, they're still making planes, and people are still traveling uncontrollably. I like Boeing for the long against that 175.
All right, let's get a look at the overall market here as we head towards 9 o'clock. Sharif's going to kick it off with a look at the futures.
48.89 or 98, guys. We were just below that 4,900 yesterday on the close. We're holding 4,900 well right now. Let's go ahead and say 4,900 support if we make it down off that 49.18 that we topped out at. And yesterday's high, Brendo, 49.33. Let's say that for resistance.
If you have not done so, where is it? There we go. Grab that. QR code will get you there. Or go to watchlist.tradertv.live. Enter your email address. Any will do. And then you can have that every single day from us for absolutely nothing. It's free, so why not? Tesla, top of the watch list this morning, as it should be, 8.7% to the downside. There was a little bit of a move back up towards that 190 right now. But, I mean, lots to digest as far as what happened, not only in the report, but on the call as well, which was kind of interesting. You know, he was laughing and jolly and, you know, like nothing was wrong, but then came out and said their growth is not going to be anywhere close to what it was last year.
Yeah, I still haven't heard the call. Definitely want to go back and listen to that. Guys, they missed on the top and bottom line. That's the first thing we want to start off with here. But total revenue did increase 3% year over year. Net income really did well, more than doubled, about to $7.9 billion. From 3.7 from a year earlier. That was mostly due to about $6 billion one-time non-cash tax credit. However, the real issue is here the scaling of the Cybertruck and how long that's going to take. He thinks he has enough capacity right now to make about 125,000 Cybertrucks in 2024. He eventually wants to get to about 250,000. We'll have to see how he does that. And number two, he's talking about scaling this new Model 2. It's supposed to be a hatchback. We talked about this yesterday, the dismantling of the Honda Civic to try to figure out how do we make cheap cars. So lots of unanswered questions here, Brendo.
Yeah, and they were, I mean, he's kind of keeping his cards close to his chest on the Cybertruck in the sense of the numbers so far since, you know, they just started a month or so ago. But good to see, I think, that they've already shifted focus to the next thing.
Yes.
And not necessarily still on the Cybertruck. But Sean, you're short. Where's the opposite, maybe?
Yeah, so look, I put this down yesterday. I really thought that 208 level was pretty key on the daily, right? We were long it yesterday, then we were short it, and we cashed out at the end of the day. They didn't produce the numbers that everybody was hoping for. It was more that notably weaker demand. And we highlighted that on the show. If you got to go watch the market recap show, man. I mean, that thing was hovering around 205 yesterday. And let me see if I'm zoomed in here because we had these stupid dark pools up there at 8 o'clock. So yesterday when we were watching the stock live with everybody, and shout out to Patrick over here that was watching it as well, you know, 206, 207, when it bounced to the high side there, I was like, this seems a little strange. We probably want to be shorting in and around that 205, 204 area. I mean, obviously that was before the call happened, and the call happens, and now we're all the way down here. That notably weaker demand is a problem. So I really like this little whoosh down. You're going to get a 10% discount. I haven't bought this stock any time this year. We last bought it, I think it was 211. I was talking about this. Then well, actually, was it 211 or was it 220? Anyways, we'll figure it out.
No. You were 211. I bought 220. Like,
okay,
yeah,
I was 211. Okay, so anyways, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like you hear, I'm not worried about this. But I like it, Neil, for the talk of this newer car. We've been looking at this for a very, very long time.
Yes.
When I was in Europe this summer, and I know you guys are all going and have been as well, I don't see Teslas anywhere over there. And the reason why I feel like is everyone's driving those little cars. And now this will come into play. It will allow people that are living in the city maybe a little bit of a better option. The Model 3 is actually a decent size. It's not like it's super small. So we'll wait to see if this can make a change. I'm short it. I'm going to play the 3-day rule. I wrote this down. And the 3-day rule is basically very, very simple. You wait 3 days, and then you find out what's going to happen with the stock, because you're going to get price downgrades. You're going to get, well, first of all, here we go. We're starting to make a move lower now. But you're going to get downgrades. And then I looked, and to answer your question, Brendan, what about 170? So I'm going to put a bid down there into 170, 175, something like that. I like the story for the autonomy. I like the story because they're the first mover. I'm not scared of BYD because I think that you can compete with multiple people in the realm. You know, I mean, it's not... Apple came out with the iPhone. Obviously, Tesla comes out with their cars. Samsung, Google, everybody piles on. There's still just the iPhone dominating.
Yeah.
Tesla will still be the dominant factor. To me, we're going to talk more about stocks, but I think we'll talk more about stocks.
I hope so.
Rivian,
No, we will.
It's just a lot of them are the other names. You know, it's like when Intel reports tonight, possibly AMD tomorrow could feel some pain or
I tend to agree. Like
headwinds,
and that's what happened. We saw this throughout the chip space. And Tesla, if you think ASML and TSM move the other the other chip names, like Tesla's going to move the other EV names. I just got filled underneath 80. Technically 79.99 on Fisker.
There's
but
another example.
It rounds the numbers off. It actually got filled in front of the 80 level at 999. But Tesla, this 191. Like the 191 wick bottom in here, that's level 1, and then the body up here at 195. I'm sitting in front of 191. That's the level I want to try to get it on a break of 190 and then a fade. And then if that 91 gets taken out, I'm looking 95. The trend line, if you look at it, I don't know why I keep drawing the top of this, and then I guess I'm not saving it. But the bottom is the one that matters, I guess. And it's now down to 165, so the 170, 165 just feels like we could easily head there. I think a host of other names are going to be tradable today. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can still see the 15 level on my Rivian chart. It did not halt for a month. But Rivian, big level here at 15. Huge support. The last 3 times it was down there, like 1, 2, 3. if we fail this at the open, I mean, Rivian could easily drop $1 here. It's only down 2% in sympathy. Why couldn't it go 5%? Why couldn't it go 7%? Oh, the SSR number on Tesla is 187.75. That's even like $2 away from here. And then Fisker, I did regret jumping out of Fisker yesterday, not giving it enough of a chance to fall. The bottom yesterday was 80. There's a bit of a, I don't want to call it, it wasn't a reserve order or anything, but there was like a seller there at 80. So I just jumped in the 999, literally, in front of it. So I want to be sitting in this short, giving it back into yesterday's highs, and even trying to short. If it breaks this, I'd probably short it at the 90 level as well. So I like Fisker short. If Tesla pops to 91, I'll be into it, and I'm still eyeballs on Rivian as well. I can't think of an EV name that I'm looking long. I would suppose if NIO gets to its 52-week low, I'd probably at least look for a bounce there. It gave a bounce off $6.
You know what?
Actually, didn't even check.
You know
what's that level again? It's like 5. Double check.
I was gonna
NIO's 5. Yeah, well, it's a 570. It's right there.
Yeah, when that broke that $7, that was, or $8.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't like that long.
That was a good one. I was just going to say something because you mentioned about the long. I honestly, yeah, so I'm waiting for, this is a very, very much starter position. I have like 10% of the shares I want on Tesla. I'm looking for that 191. I'm actually at 190.50 and at 191, and then we'll probably have to get blown out of it if it continues to go upside. So we'll wait for, it's not continuing to do anything. Where right now we're 40 cents in the money. I was going to say Rivian, and I was like throwing shade on it and everything like that, and I think we should because of where it is on the daily chart here. But it has a 16% short float that we keep talking about. Okay, they have some good talk here as well about a cheaper, smaller model. So that's something that we like. They actually have production and demand with Rivian. They also have Amazon as some kind of a tailwind there for them. So if Tesla can find a base, which maybe it does today, Rivian could easily blow up from here, like upside, like blow up. Yeah, okay. Well, that can mean both things. But I feel like there could be a bottom. Like, so if you're in Rivian and you want to go short, I think you got to hit this 1490. But then I would really be careful about this 200 period, like 1510 or something like that. So I just want to say be cautious about a stock that has a pretty high short float that could come in. And they don't report for another month. So if Tesla gets going, Rivian could really get going with that short float and just an overall hatred on the stock. I mean, this stock is down like 24 guys to 15 with maybe 1 or 2 green candles, and I even question those green candles anyways. So straight down, it's like basically 2 weeks, 3 weeks of straight fire there into a resist support level. I feel like you're one upgrade away from Rivian possibly seeing a bottom down here, but let's just wait a couple days and see what Tesla does first.
Direction as well. Let's talk semis here, heading towards Intel coming up. This group has just been, as we've said, I feel like a broken record, but it's been 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row here, just straight to the upside. AMD, NVDA, pick one, all-time highs yesterday. SMH, all-time highs yesterday. NASDAQ, all-time highs yesterday. Yeah, same old, same old.
Just watched NVIDIA go up $30 from the open yesterday. It was a ridiculous trade yesterday on NVIDIA. Yeah. Guys, NVIDIA with another headline today, this new RTX video HDR. It's supposed to take standard definition videos and somehow able to convert it into a high dynamic range videos. That'll be interesting to see there. We haven't seen much from them with respect to gaming and other, basically other than AI for a little bit. So kind of refreshing. Yeah, speaking of AI, there wasn't a lot of detail in this note as far as what this is going to consist of, but all of these NVIDIA, AMD, IBM, Microsoft, Google, partnering up with the U.S. government for quote-unquote AI research. So it was more a naming thing than anything. I read through that story. There wasn't much. What's it called? The National Artificial Intelligence Research Resource, or NAIRR pilot program, or shorter-ish.
National what? You get
NAIRRR, Neil, didn't you hear
How
that?
do they not, like, first of all, there should be like some kind of an unwritten rule. Like, if you do some nonsense like that, you just give me an acronym to work with here. I'm not
We did.
Nonsense.
NIRRRRR.
R,
not National
NIRRR.
IRRR.
I want to answer a quick question here from the chat because I think we always want to make sure everyone knows the deal here. It was AJ. Quick question, anyone? How is short and long being used in this style of trading? So here we are trading a day trade. The world we trade equities only. Well, we have futures. We actually have forex as well, but we're trading equity. So a long position just means we have bought with the intention of the stock going up, and we're going to cover that position ideally higher for a win. And short means we've sold. We've got borrows. We've sold the shares short. We need to buy them back. So there's no options trading here yet at Day Trade the World. So I hope that just might clear things up. Now, if you were short NVIDIA yesterday, well, if you got the top, great. If you were short NVIDIA for most of the day, you probably got your butt kicked, just like AMD. It was ASML that led the charge. Lam ended up beating. It's worth noting that Lam beat top and bottom like ASML. Maybe not exactly the strength of the guidance, but the guidance was actually pretty good for Lam as well. But they're barely up today, and I think that's because of all of the buying that we saw in the chips. So I'm not saying you've reached a high, but you're getting a little frothy here. And ASML was, at this point, ASML yesterday was up 5%, ended up 10. Lam is nowhere near, look, it's not, LCRX, I didn't expect it to make as big of a move, but it's nowhere near as strong to the upside. Can NVIDIA take out this top? Maybe it can. I just prefer looking at AMD because I feel as if the risk to reward on AMD, it's so, relative to price, the volatility that it's giving you it's tremendous. There's no question about it. And I think this is the one I want to go to. I was going to say dip buy into this, 177 to 178. But if we can hang on in front of 180, I think that's a go zone. The report tonight is going to be Intel. Intel was weak off the open and then rallied late in the day. You can see all kinds of resistance right in front of that 50 level. Normally, I'd be saying short 50. A lot of times I'd say you get to a $50, it's before earnings. It should be an inside type of day. But you've got this overhead resistance at $51. So I think, let's go over here. There you go. At $51. So I think that's where the fade is for me. It's got to be at that 51, or we have to fail underneath these highs. So I actually think you can go dip buy off that double top, which would be the 49. It's about 49.70. If it dips into that price and shows buyers, I'd be looking for a dip buy and then join the party up. But it's the 51 level that looks bigger to me. When a stock is reporting, I'm generally not expecting it to just go absolutely ham, breaking into new price ranges before the report. So that top to me is that 51 on Intel.
All right, so yesterday, yeah, I mean, I love Intel off their report. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I feel like, I told you this yesterday, I feel like it's dangerous to trade stocks ahead of it, but the chip names I think are a little bit different because they're just so rally mode that ahead of earnings, I feel like people are probably going to want to get long the names, not short. So I feel like if you're going long and playing the trend in these names, you're probably right. The reason why I bring this up from yesterday is you had this dip down in for AMD, which made it more frustrating because there was a downside move in the name. We actually wound up making good money on AMD. And you know why? Because we shorted right here, 176, over and over and over again. And it was my #1 stock until the end of the day where we did some damage on Coinbase and a few other names. But look at this 176. You see how great that held? Who cares? That was yesterday. We're not getting back down to 176 today. And if we do, then we'll be there and buy it, okay? But for right now, let's talk about a trade that you could actually make. So you see this pre-market level that we kept on bouncing off yesterday, this 173. We hit it on, early, then we fell back down. So then you break. So that's the trade right here, right now. I feel like you could fall back in for AMD, and if you want to try to pick up a bottom, then maybe, yeah, the markets right now is ripping, so whatever everybody wants to do. But right into here, 181, if we hold that and start to go back up to the upside, I'm thinking about just nailing this 184 long. It's like if you hit that pre-market high yesterday, 172, it just ripped pretty much all day until 1 o'clock, where we started to fade a little bit in the NASDAQ, right? So if you get that kind of a move again, you'll be super happy with it. So, pulling back into 182 would be real nice. If you want to stand in front of it, that's great. You have VWAP. We talk about that. When you gap, look for VWAP. So that would be 182. So that's a play right there. But I really think the best play might be a break of this, whatever the pre-market high is, which right now it's 920. So I guess we're getting pretty close. So 184, 184.50. I think you just smack that and then use some of these levels as you're out, 183 and change, so on and so forth. But remember, despite it being a monster yesterday, I made all the money short once it gave us this level at 176. So I don't want to miss AMD. My eyes will obviously be on Tesla, which we just got to reload here at 30. So we're gonna wait for Tesla, but AMD, I think that 184.30 or so level could be a monstrous long. But for right now, I will be Tesla obsessed for a couple minutes until we see what this stock does up near 193.
Let's go to airlines quickly. American Airlines out with their latest earnings report pointing to summer long-haul book-up already basically at max capacity. So if anyone had vacation plans to go to Europe this summer, that flight's probably not going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's why these transcontinental airlines did a lot better than the domestic ones last year, because everybody wanted to go over into Europe. So let's talk a little bit how American did. It's a bit of a tough look here if you look at it face value. $19 million is how much they turned in profit. That's down 98% from last year when they turned a profit of $803 million. That's mostly due, though, to one-time items, specifically a new labor agreement with their pilots. So we'll have to see how they do the rest of the year. The other headline here, Brendo, Southwest Airlines takes Boeing, the MAX 7 out of its 2024 plans because of certification delays. So more grounding of more Boeing planes now.
Just be aware, Microsoft just announcing some Activision-related job cuts. So it wasn't a lot. I think it was 1,900, but coming out of their gaming division, guys.
I feel like that's a lot. 1,900 people? Like, how many did Activision even employ in the first place? That seems. I just typed an ATVI into my charts. That's hilarious.
I do that all the time.
Is gone. Microsoft up to 405, not having much movement on that.
For AAL here, I think was it Steve in the chat or possibly was asking about AAL. It's a good mover. I don't know what time the conference call is, or I don't know if they've already had it. I'll ask Brennan in a quick second. It wasn't necessarily my plan to trade it unless it breaks and holds above 1475, which it already couldn't do. See that on the daily chart? Resistance until it's not. If it can break out from there and 15 goes, you could have a double-digit type of day on AAL. It's already failed that break just now, so I would want to make sure that we're actually going to get through it with any kind of gusto. Whoa, Tesla just made a nice little Hua-dunk move. It just did an over-under one. What do I have to hit enter twice? Just did an over. Okay, that wick is not real. The top there was just 190 and about, I want to say like 75. It's tough to see because of that dark pool wick. And then right back
there.
into 189. I took some out on that flush because it gets 920. If I can get some out inside the range, scalp it. It's a pre-market. I'm going to hang on to Fisker. Rivian's doing nothing. But I doubt I trade AAL unless I see buyers above 75 or maybe even a $15 break setting up. It's got to. AAL just has to get through that resistance on the daily, or I'm not that interested.
I'm not that interested at all, so I won't be looking there. But I just want to give everyone an idea of a way to trade this. We talk about this all the time. I feel like you can go to the ETF. This JETS ETF has pretty much everything in it. All the top names are there. It's like they're all like 10%. So you can get involved with this. It dipped down into the 50-period moving average. The more and more that I look at ETFs, especially including into that market recap show, it's these 50 periods and 200 periods are pretty golden if you can get something down there and you like sort of the longer term story. So again, I don't mind it. You're approaching these area highs. Yeah, so on earnings plays, I mean, if they're going to keep on coming out and JETS is going to be up another 1% today. So I like this, man. Look for a break of 1950 on the JETS ETF, and then you could hold it back to 18 if you like the space. That is JETS. Go JETS. JETS.
No.
JETS, JETS, JETS.
Yeah, well.
Boo Aaron Rodgers.
It's a good thing there's actually an ETF named that or whatever. Yay, JETS.
All right, let's talk Apple in China. There's more concerns about sales going over to Q3, I think it was, in that note, or later in the year for iPhones across the board. I mean, this thing has had quite the week here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, we'll call it. There was one red day in there, but Pretty impressive. I mean, we were talking about the headset thing.
Yep.
Already blowing away expectations as far as numbers for the Vision Pro. The pre-orders going back to Friday were essentially double, I think, what the manufacturing number was. So that already looking really good.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about 80,000 shipments of the Vision Pro for all of 2024. Now we're hearing pre-orders of 160 to 180,000. Morgan Stanley coming out overnight and predicting that we may see somewhere between 350 to 500,000 of these delivered in 2024. Obviously, speculation. We'll have to see what happens. The other headline today for Apple on the negative side, basically citing their decrease of shipment of iPhones to China, about 2.1% reduction there, probably owing more to the reemergence of Huawei. I should mention, Brendo, that Huawei increased its shipments of smartphones in 2023 by 36.2%. So we're in 2023, they actually delivered 35 million. In 2024, now Huawei projecting that they were going to deliver about 64 million phones. That probably is going to hurt Apple.
Yeah, it definitely has lagged the overall move in the market. The overall, I mean, the rest of the group not at all-time highs or close to it for that matter. I mean, it's close, but still a little ways to go where everything else is being led by the chips, guys.
Well, chips, yeah, Lay's. Bet you can't eat just one. All right, so, all right, Apple right here. It's on the sticky note. It's 195 short. I wrote here the market could be red. This was before GDP came out, so it's having a little bit of an effect here. But what I just said is that we had a huge run off the 200-period moving average on the daily, right? And so now you have possible worries about China. I kind of hold those worries as nothing burgers. But here's a nice move down as the imbalances come out. So we're short right now. It's in the money about 40 cents, 50 cents, and starting to come back in. If this market does fall down, Apple's been weak. I mean, Brendan just nailed it right on the head right there. Yesterday, pretty weak name. So I feel like it's gone too far too fast based on nothing. We'll wait for earnings to come through. I still love the name, but I'm going to be net short. And look what's happening right now. Both of our positions right now, nicely in the money, as there goes Apple, just touched 194.50. Maybe we'll put a bid down there if that can go. And we're starting to get some love back for Tesla. So just like we talked about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, maybe this short can get some love right now as well. And there it is, man. Two sticky note names, both net short. We had Apple written down there at 195. We took it. We have Tesla down there at 190. We took it. Let's see what can happen right now at Trader TV Sean on Instagram and on Twitter. I like Apple to the short side, but if it breaks 196, peace.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you're in that Apple because I feel like yesterday at the Open, well, in the first 30 minutes, I don't know if we neglected some of the big, the Mag 7, but we kind of did. We didn't look at Apple until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is making moves. The imbalances just dropped, right? So you had a bit of a spike down there on Apple. Just to give you a quick update, I don't really have any plans for Apple today, but that Tesla 191, it just spiked up in there again, got 75. The local high, the first spike was about 75, I mentioned to you guys. I just got the 75s, and then right back, once it breaks 190, scalp it again. It's a couple of very quick, nice $1 scalp trades. I want to still work off that level. Remember, at the Open, it could easily blow that out. Do not be surprised if that were to happen right at the Open. It could reestablish underneath, but if we break 191, you could be at 93, 94 in an absolute hurry. I wouldn't be holding that $3 against me. Not when I'm taking scalp profits of $1. But let's go back to the desk. There's an event in the middle of the day, guys.
Yeah, coming up for PayPal. We'll touch on that in a second. First off, it is tax season. Let's all get prepared. Save 20% right now with TradeLog. Bottom right corner, you can use that QR code. We'll take you right to the landing page. Save 20%, yeah, right across the board on your initial setup with tools and education to take control of your taxes. Learn how you can get started today for free and save 20% on your subscription. TradeLog.com/TraderTV. Are you the type of person that just gets it out of the way as quickly as possible?
Oh, yeah.
Just same. Yeah, I can't, the whole last minute, Friday night, Saturday, like before them, I can't do that. So I'll be first in line next.
I like it. Yeah, no, I'd rather pay them a little bit rather than paying the Canadian version of Uncle Sam. any money. Are we going to talk about PayPal?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so PayPal today, guys, 12:30. Mark your calendars if you're involved in this name because we have the PayPal First Look event. They're looking to unveil some of their latest products and tell us how they're going to get back on the wagon because Apple's really been eating their lunch lately with the Apple Pay at checkout. It's really hurt PayPal's sales. The good thing is, though, they have about 500 million users, Brendo, on this platform that they can monetize somehow.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that. It might be a market-moving event. I'm just hearing as well, the ECB had their interest rate decision this morning. They held 4.5%, but Lagarde, the ECB, is it president? ECB head? Good question. I don't even know what her title is. She's speaking right now anyway, so just heads up.
That's right, and pretty much as expected from the ECB there. So PayPal, ears to the ground at 12:30 Eastern time. Until then, I don't want to get these two mixed up, but there was that flat bottom we were talking about on PayPal at 63. The other name, which is adjacent to them, there you go. I don't know, that's a school word. I like school words. Square at 62. So you got double bottoms everywhere here. 63 on PayPal, 62 on Square. The Square level's in front of the 200-period moving average. It's because it's all EVs for me and chips at 9:30. This is a situation where if it's just failing that level at the open, when I come back to this at like 9:35 or 9:40, I'd be looking shorts underneath. And if it's held that level, I'd probably look for some continuation longs. But this is right now about those chips. We got about 30 seconds to go. I did catch a fill at the pre-market low at 78. I got 76 and 75 bids on Fisker as that thing continues to go to the gates of hell, like a lot of other EV names. But we got less than 20 seconds to go. Watch out for those chips. They have been ripping. Let's get to Adara on the bell. It's Thursday. It's Tesla earnings day. It is the PayPal event day as well, in case anyone's interested in the middle of the day. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, you know what to do.
We are now open, so let's get ready to rock and roll. I just walked by the algo room and I said, turn on your net short algos. So let's see what happens here as we go to the downside. And there's $2. It's already happening. Let's go Tesla to the downside. That's a quick $2 winner right there for you. We took some out at 188 right there. Wow, sometimes you got to be sitting around there to get that fill. PayPal smoking to the downside right now as well. We just get that fill down there at 63. So 2 sticky no names. Ciao, Tesla. Bye-bye. Now 250. It just bounced off 188, though. This is a wild ride here for Tesla. And we are waiting to get more Apple as Apple is starting to rip to the upside again. We are waiting at 70 there. It only goes as high as 60s. But there it is. Apple with a nice move higher to start the day.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good start to the morning. Tesla already gave that move a couple of times. I was just able to pick up more Fisker right here. Like, it's wild. Like, it gave me the fill right back in front of that 80 level once again. So we're just going to rinse and repeat. Got some 79s quickly. I'm going to bid some 78s as the EV names have continued to be under some pressure. You guys all know what's up with them. It hasn't been good. Rivian was the other name we were going to look at. Tesla's starting to bounce. So I want to make sure I get that 78 bid. Rivian, where are you? Rivian's holding $15, man. Yep. This does not want to break down. It might be a jailbreak. If the longer it holds 15, it might be a little bit of a jailbreak. And as far as the chips go, AMD is squashing to the downside. So you just got to be a little bit patient. That gets down to the pre-market low of 180. I'd look first bounce. So Tesla working, Fisker to the downside. Thankfully, pick Fisker over Rivian. I don't know what's up there.
Oh shit, we're reloaded right there at 190. Let's see what happens here with Tesla. Remember, we have that 193 pegged, so if it gets up to that, then we'll be out of it. We're just having fun here today. We'll wait to see. We don't, we already took $2 on it. Obviously, we want to get a little bit more. We just reloaded it at 190, and it's dancing, man. Like, we could have just had $1 there again. Like, this is pretty violent here this morning. And if you guys followed, then maybe you're also short Apple right here as we reloaded that one as well. We were waiting for more shares, man. I mean, we're trying to choose 195.70 up there in Pikachu. I choose you. What's going on with AMD? All right, here's the dip down that we talked about, down into 181 right now for AMD. Because I'm net short, I don't think I'm going to play that. But there's the algos. I mean, I hope that they're maybe done now. That was get net short right there off the open. It's a nice move on the NASDAQ. It's straight down 50 handles or 40 handles there for the NQ. All right, so PayPal, we said get net short, but PayPal is eating right now the short because it is going to the downside right now. We should have.
Did it break 63?
Okay, there goes Tesla. Everything's ripping right now.
Yeah, Tesla just
Yeah,
stopped
so
me.
that might have been the bounce. The market just went down into VWAP there. Let's see what happens now as the market's bouncing upside a little bit here, but not PayPal, but Tesla for sure just found a bottom.
Yeah, Tesla.
Maybe.
Look, I said if it blew through that 91, I was just going to
comes
jam out.
93s.
So I'm out of it through that 91 level. If it gets to 95, that's almost like a no-brainer for me. My first thought when I saw that breakout happen was I knew I was covered by my stop order. What's going on with Fisker? So Fisker's still holding off those bottoms. I did throw a bid in here at 77.5 just to take a little bit more out. Just want to be able to trim that position. The chip names, where are you, AMD? Okay, I guess got that Fisker fill. It's chill. AMD still coming to the downside. Not quite at that 180 just yet.
This
Adara
really
at the
blew
desk.
up, man.
Massive push to the upside right off the open here for PCSA. This is Processa Pharmaceuticals. This one is a small cap, announcing the completion of a safety evaluation for one of their cancer treatments, up about 100% right now. PCSA.
Anytime you see
Look at the over-under Rivian at 15 even. If this can hold 15 on the way back, that could be a nice little bounce
Yeah,
back.
I like
no
that.
longs. I mean, no longs in any of the chip names for me right now. So I guess we're just being patient. I do want to double check. For anyone that's looking at the airlines, remember AAL and that like 1475? Well, I suppose I should have taken the break. Whatever. It doesn't. I knew I would be on EV names at the open. So, you know, I'm not going to be mad at that. But that 1475 did go on AAL as it continues to the upside. Now Fisker seems like it's calming down. It was probably an overreaction to take some out there at 77.5 on Fisker. It's already down at 75. There's a big buyer at 75. I'm going to put some on the 20s. I don't know why I was sitting at 15, so I'm going to put some on the 20s. See if I can't get another fill. That is still absolutely flushing.
Bye-bye. We just got a monster move back in. Let's go, man. This is what we're talking about. That's a good idea to go short on Tesla. See ya. Ciao, Patrick. Nice move to the downside right now. It's not a $1 winner. No. It is a $2 winner as there it goes back down in. It's going downside for Tesla. And there it is, man. Nice move. This is what we're waiting for. This is why we're here, right? So let's wait. PayPal, I'm still waiting for more. Let's see if we get a 188. Again, if we get a 188, my guy, how about when? Come back in. No, man, this is why. This is like gets me going because this is the stuff that we're looking for here in the market, man. That's a pretty nice move back in. So we'll take some out and breathe. Apple, again, unfortunately, like we're waiting at 70, man. We said that. It goes up to 60 and now falls back in just a little bit. All right, come on, Tesla. It just bounced off that 188.50, so we do have a bid down there now to see if we can get something out. I was going to try to let this one drop even more into that bottom of the day, but I do have a bid here. Try to capture some of this. I mean, it's $3 now in the money on the short for this play. So it's still rocking and rolling. It's a good one, man. Now Apple's working. There it is. Daily goal met right now. So we'll just go a little bit of back and forth. But hey, this day is going to get a lot more spicy if Apple continues to go to the downside. There it is, man. Hey, Adara, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's $4 now in the money for Tesla. Oh, and by the way, did I say 4? It's now 5. What's up, Adara?
Massive move here to the upside for Paramount, up about 7%, getting a nice push off the open here. Bloomberg reporting on Wednesday that David Ellison of Skydance Media making a preliminary offer to buy National Amusements to take control of Paramount here, so up about 7.5% PARA.
Big move for Paramount. Right now, I'm concerned about the move to the downside here. Rivian did break the 15 level. Thankfully, I'll be dead honest. I don't think I would have taken the break on Rivian at 15 if Tesla was still screaming to the upside. That would have been a concern. But Tesla came back in. Rivian now starting to go. Keep the EVs to the south side. I bet you like Lucid is, yeah, you could have just shorted Lucid. You probably could have Polestar, whatever. All of those out there probably absolutely flushing right now. So stick to that. The chips are looking okay. AMD ended up bouncing. It just never got to 180. Dang it. All right, so AMD already starting to go here to the upside. I don't know if I want to. I don't want to go breakout through the high today. I don't feel like it's a breakout kind of day. So I'm going to back off of that. Tesla is short sell restricted. That happened at 187.75. I don't think it's automatic bounce there, but SSR bounces to me are at even dollar levels. So stick to the shorts. They happen to be working. I wanted to get over to NVIDIA, keeping track of the chip names. This is starting to rally as well. And if NVIDIA breaks the high, might just take a shot at this AMD. Missed a dip by 2 days in a row on AMD. I don't know, it's
That's
wild.
stupid because I called it up when it was up there at 181.
No, but I
yeah.
wanted it underneath 181 anyways, and it didn't come close to breaking.
Guys,
So.
remember when we were right here and I was like, this is exactly the move that we said would happen in AMD, but I was just too busy focusing on Apple, which is now a monster, and Tesla, which is Tesla. So like I said, man, you can't have them all, but this one we should have had. So that's, you know, I hate talking about it and then like just flipping over to something else, but that's fine. Tesla is now printing and so is Apple. And those are the two names that we had on the sticky note. We did have AMD on our mind, but it wasn't really there. We can go back over and have a quick look at Palantir quickly. There's Apple 195. So, you know, again, we took a fill there at 15s or 20s, whatever that was. Now we are waiting for lower. So hopefully this can come back in. I'm just going to wait on Tesla, honestly. I mean, I feel like we could just dance around. I mean, we just made that bottom at 187. Maybe we'll put a bid there and see what happens. But I kind of want to stay short. We did this yesterday where we had a big winner and then we let it just continue to trade all day. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. I want to see. I want Tesla to sort of show us what it wants to do here. So upside, I feel like that was good. We're going to get out if it breaks 193. So we already sort of know that. So $1.25 worth of risk to play a lottery ticket. We're going to do that right now with Tesla. So let's try it. We've had a great month. We're doing pretty good here. So we're going to hold on to that one. And then we're just going to watch out for PayPal. PayPal came back up to 63, and I got some out at like 63.05 there or something for a 20-cent hit. So it still sucks. But I'm just a little nervous about it breaking the bottom. Sorry, did I say Tesla, PayPal? That's just a trade that I'm looking at. We'll see if it can continue to work out. But right now, PayPal holding for 40s or 50s. That's pretty much the best thing I can figure out for right there. Apple, still waiting for 195.
I don't know why Sharif laughed at that. I just said, hold it. I didn't even, well, no, actually what's interesting, we used to have a hold, I had a hold it graphic. Fabian, it exists somewhere.
It does.
It's like a little caricature of me, and it's just saying hold it. So we're going to hold on to some Rivian as that continues to flush down. Got my eyes on Tesla. As I said, I got out of it, but the chip names,
Apple.
Sorry, not the chip names. The EV names want to remain net short and see if we can't get some touchdowns with it. One last thing, we're going to go back over to Adara, but I wanted to jump over to Softy for a quick little second. We ignored the Mag 7 a little bit. Softy did reject that $3 trillion mark. It is off those highs. It's got a double top for the last couple of days at that 406. So if the market does take out the highs, just try to remember Microsoft at that 406 level. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Another earnings name on the move here, IBM making new 52-week highs after really strong Q4 performance, up 9.5% right now, IBM.
But instead of Big Blue, we'll short Apple right now.
Don't short IBM.
Yeah, and see what happens right there. I will have a look. We are covering some more Apple here. It's at the level that we like, right? So we've talked about down here into 195. So we're starting to cover. It's at the 50-period moving average. We're going to see if that one wants to continue to give us a little bit more here for Apple. There we go, another fill. So, all right, we're doing what we said we would do, and that was short Apple and try to hold on to it for a little bit longer. So there we go, man. I do feel bad about missing AMD, but we talked about it. I hope you guys got it. But we focused on Apple, and now Apple's the #1 name. So we're happy with it. I like it, even though Tesla is still making moves. I really like this Apple trade, and there it goes to the downside again. So let's see if we can really get a flush. Hopefully this market will continue to go to the downside. It's just trying to bounce right now, basically off these that's not the pre-market bottoms, but we're trying to get back into there, 17,680. I still want to be net short, so I'm net short right now. The other ideas that we had on here was Palantir through 17. Right now, that's still here. Wow, okay.
It held?
So it actually went through. I didn't even notice it did this in the pre-market. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, that happened. I didn't even notice that. So it's come back in through 17 now. I still like the long, but I'm net short this market. Oh, net short Tesla and Apple. So I'm going to hold on to these ones as there it goes, man. We have $3 in the money on Tesla and 70 cents right now on Apple. So was that a call for somebody?
Nope.
Nope. Perfect.
I think it was, I heard a couple people behind us probably excited of a couple of things here. There's a refresh. Oh, never mind. Okay, so there was an iceberg at 75. Actually, it's interesting because exact same time Frank Jones in the chat was saying that Fisker was pushing through that support at 75. It busted through, so that's continuing to work into the downside. I wasn't looking at Palantir, but Square is right at that double bottom at 62. So this is it. Why is that still Fisker? There we go. 62, once, twice, OB thrice. How's about nowish? So like at the end of the day, to me, things are support until they're not. We know there's the PayPal event, 12:30. These stocks could do something, but I'm going to go for the long off of the 62 first time through on Square. I almost said PayPal again. Let's go to Adara.
Not really reacting too much to this right now, but Microsoft, the Verge is reporting that Microsoft is laying about 1,900 employees off from the Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox units this week. So this is going to be roughly 8% of the Microsoft gaming division. Not reacting too much, but keep that in mind for MSFT, guys.
Right, the cost cutting. So yeah, the new position is just, like I said, Square. Hey, I thought I bid 22s. Doesn't matter. So I'm into Square off of that 62 level. It's trying to bounce. The other thing we mentioned for a dip buy yesterday, and I think we neglected it today, was Alibaba, and that just flashed for me because where did it bounce? Right off of yesterday's low. So that 94 and a quarter, I liked it. Sorry, 74 and a quarter. I like that 74 and a half area. Might have missed a chance at an entry. Maybe it'll give us another shot if it pops back in. But the market's a little bit heavy. If you're not in front of major support, I want to be a little bit patient with you, because the market is screaming to the downside right now.
Man, now I'm worried that this algo team is going to poach me away from the show here. So we'll see what contract they come up with. This is a crazy good short right now. Let's just see if it breaks. I would think right now, if you've had some of this, you may want to just put some bids out here and start to cover. Like I'm doing that with Apple. We just took some more off right there. And I feel like if you're nervous about Tesla, this is a good spot to take some out as well. It's just barcoding here. Like I'm really worried about this 188 breaking lower. That would be nice, but also it's been holding. So that's something that we have to watch out for. Man, IBM, and we said this with the, I mean, first of all, if you're not watching the market recap show, then you're not staying late because traders stay late. So we talked about that. But the other thing here is like, this was another name that was at, I have to go back to a weekly chart, but it was breaking all-time highs. And then they come out with this crazy report yesterday, and now you're up 11% on Big Blue. This is nuts. Like, this stock doesn't even move 10% in a year. And then here you have it right now, upside, and it's not upside down. It is straight upside right here. So any kind of a pullback to VWAP probably needs to get bought at some point, but you know, to each their own. I'm going to put a little bit more out here. Okay, so I was waiting at 60. I just took another 74 there. So I'm just waiting for this market to collapse, and I feel like it could do that coming up soon. So we'll wait to see what happens there. There goes PayPal back up to the upside. So we said that we'd have some offers up here. I'm actually at 50. Maybe we take another piece out, considering that I'm a little bit bearish here on the market. So we'll take something out here, mid-30s, if we can get that. Oh, there we go. That'd be great. So we just got a 34 fill there, or 37. What did we get? 34, so we got a nice 34 fill there, putting us in the profit spot here. We're gonna go 3 for 3 today. And again, I know that sounds like a broken record, but you can see the trades. They're here every single day. It's another trophy day, and we're pretty happy with it. So let's just keep this momentum going. I'd like to add to these positions, but again, I'd also like to see them fall a little bit further. So here comes Tesla. Let's see. I'm not adding on this break, but this isn't a bad opportunity to add on a break of 188, as it looks like it's trying to get to the downside here. $4 in the money, Tesla.
Everything is headed down as far as I'm concerned. I'm like you, I have one long, and oddly enough, they're both adjacent to each other. So Square and PayPal.
Oh yeah, Square.
I feel like those are going to do the same thing. I'm trying to get something in the 40s to take some profit at 1-to-1. Every single even penny I'm now grabbing on Fisker. This is going to go short sell restricted at the 73-cent mark. It'll be down 10%. The good news is it's been down 10% many times and still hasn't managed to bounce. So we're going to hang on to this for the short. Rivian is continuing to fall to the downside. So the chip names, sorry. I keep saying the chip names. The EV names continue to look incredibly weak. AMD, I mean, I thought it was headed right down into that 180. It just bounced off 182, so it's not really getting all the way into the bottom just yet. But if we get any kind of a bounce, I do want to take some profit in front of VWAP on Square on the one long position that we have on right now. David Fabian, AAL acting strong, right?
AAL, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, remember, it's 1475 is the level on the daily. That is acting strong. Wow. I should maybe be looking at this long. It's a breakout on the daily right here at 75s. You're only risking 15 to 20 cents here off VWAP. I'm going to get a stop order in. I said I would check back in on this one and not trade it off of the open because I knew we'd be on the EV names, but that is looking pretty strong. Take the stairs up when a stock is looking to trend. That's the way I think about it. Let's head to the desk with Adara.
Rail has been running again here. This one had quite the move up on Tuesday, up about 45% today after securing EU railway standards approval and certifications here at RVSN.
RVS. Oh yeah, that's the.
Apple, we just took another piece out at 195. I'm still waiting for that Tesla to break. PayPal's still right there right now as well. I was actually looking at Intel now because trying to find something else. It's only 947 right now. You know what? I guess I'm going to have to tag Rob here to get another coffee here, if possible. All right, you got to get some juice. All right, so Intel just made a move back into 49 bucks. So the thing about it is it's still up on the day. The market's still up, and there's that market bounce. Like we said, we talked about possibly covering everything right there. That's why we got out of more Apple. That's why we're doing those things, right? You can't, if you sit in these stocks all day, then you give yourself exposed to market risk, which is fine. I mean, that's part of the game. That's why you're going to see here, we all have different styles. Like Neil explained, getting out of Tesla, then shorting or going the adjacent longs there on Square and PayPal, doing different things, looking at Rivian, looking at Intel, looking at AMD, looking at NVIDIA, right? So it's like have your outs, but also have your outs for taking profit. So like if you're getting a little bit nervous, that's why I said about that Tesla position there at 188. Like I could, I think we could go lower. That's my opinion right now. We're under VWAP, we're under the 50-period moving average. But if I only, not being that smart, I just look at levels, and this seems like it wants to hold this 188. So I'm willing to take a loss on this position if it doesn't hold 188. I mean, it's gonna go back up, and then we'll get out another piece right here at 189. I mean, it's gonna have to break VWAP. We're gonna get out of Tesla at that 189 and change right there if it goes back up and breaks that, because I don't need it to go all the way up here. And if it does, I wanna reload. I don't just wanna lose my profit.
Square's 262.
Square, okay, so Square's moving. Anyways, that's just a little bit of talk there about what the kind of stuff that I'm looking at and trying to be a little more conservative with this play. But I am gonna punch out if it breaks 189.50. I'm gonna take out half of what we have and then wait for this eventual break, what I think is gonna happen through 188, which almost just happened again, and it just reloaded again down there. So, I mean, we gotta be able to see the patterns here.
Yeah, I'm looking at that level 2 of Tesla as well as I'm staring at Rivian trying to bounce. So 62 just came and went on Square, but it just reheld the levels. My stop was clean at the evens. Like I got 97s out when 99 broke, but it just wicked the bottom. So I'll take the second shot at that level. When it wicks the bottom, if I think it's a good support level, I'll generally take a second shot at it. If it fails right away through, and it just holds underneath, then there's no chance I'm just not gonna hold it through the level, but I will take a second shot as just regain the evens. I'll give it to the local bottom, like I always do. If it makes a fresh low, I'm out of it. Rivian, as I said, Tesla off of that 88 level has caused Rivian to start bouncing here. So I thought we'd get to 15 to 14 and a half. If this gets back into VWAP, I will look for a reload, but I don't want this break in that 1480. Fisker, I feel, remember, these have short floats. Like Fisker's short float is it's huge. I'll double check it in a second, but I want to say it's 49%. So you got to keep an eye. I just got a 73 fill. I'm still holding on to 20% of the position right now. So you got to be careful with this. There's no reason to give it all back, but if Tesla breaks 190, I could see both these getting through VWAP, and you don't want to lose that profit. So we're over. The only loss we took is a long position, go figure, because the market was going down. But I jumped back into Square when it held that low. We get to VWAP, look to take some profit, and still no AMD for me. I might just turn my attention to Intel. In AMD, it's coming pretty heavy back into 181. So that test is incoming. And Intel, I thought was a short at 51. On any other day, if it wasn't Intel earnings day, I probably would have been shorting the 50 level. My gut was telling me, no, it's an earnings day, wait for the bigger level. That might have been a bit of a mistake. But hey, you alter your plans based on the environment that you're in. In this case, I can now cancel that 51 offer. It's not going to get to that price anytime soon.
Okay, so what happened to us there was exactly what we said would happen to us possibly. We got half of out at 189.50, so it broke it there. We actually got a pretty good fill at 55. So that's a piece out. every trade that you make money on is a good one, so we'll do that. But again, I gave up a buck there because we talked about it and it just not hitting this 188, right? And it just kept on hitting it and not breaking it. So realistically, I feel like we should have been out somewhere around here, like 188.50. So now we'll have to let this thing come through. And then we did the same thing on Apple. Apple took down VWAP there, so I took out another piece. We're still holding on to Apple. We still have about 25% of that position, waiting for it to go down. But yeah, man, it's been a great day. It's just that position right there did come out a little bit. And we're looking for some more. We really nailed Starbucks yesterday. That was a fantastic short. And I'm thinking about it again here, but the problem with it is, and if you go over to my Twitter account, like I'm going to do right now to remind myself, and I put this up yesterday and I actually pinned it, and it was right here. Have a bias to direction of stock. So I think I like the short. Find VWAP, so we'll talk about that in a second. As AMD right now is pumping to the downside, AMD is getting clocked right now down through. And I'm so glad that I sold some of these names off a little bit yesterday. It's still up today. But look at this, man. It's an aggressive move right now on AMD. So let's see. Come on, market. We're now $3 back in the money on Tesla. We're now 70 cents and trying to get a dollar club right now on Apple as that's starting to move back again. Tesla's starting to fall back. There it is, 188.50, man. We're still here, baby. Nice downside moves. And look at that. Oh, it is Brendo there. God,
With the right cut.
I was stumbling there. I was like, oh my God.
Red.
It's Brendan.
The market's red. Okay, well.
Oh, yeah, I like this. See, but Brendan, come
Okay, the
on.
market's actually not red. That's my bad.
The market will be
market's
red.
headed down, but it's
Market
actually
will
only
be red.
0.3. It felt like we were already red. I'm just going to put that down for a second. AMD bounced off the 180. It got to 180.10. Yeah, I tried to catch it on the way back to the upside. Like, I didn't want to sit in. There was no bid. Like, 180, like, there was nobody standing in front of that level. So it's not like there was, like, big size or anyone buying out in front of it. So I tried to catch it on the bit of a bounce. This might be the quickest in and out of all time. I just got 15s. Some buyers just stepped in there, just got to 50s. I'm going to scalp some out. That was heavy. That was heavy to the downside again, and there wasn't a lot of buyers out in front of that 180 level. This market is not that strong. This is not the AMD of yesterday. This is today's. It feels like today's reality is not yesterday's. Like, it just got to 181. The second it was in the 90s, it flashed back down to 75. You know my style of trade. Sometimes you just take the money and run. This could be the wrong thing. But when it got to 181, which is that opening bottom, it was up in the 90s for a split second. The second someone put an offer there for more than a few hundred shares, it was right back at the 70s. So I'm now in and out up there. There's now a seller at 50s for 32,000 shares on the way back in. I'm not reloading that. I'm not getting back on the bid. I'll need to see like a higher low, some kind of strength that isn't just a round number. And I've got to start thinking about a chip short somewhere. Intel would have been the one at 50, but I guess we'll miss that. I want to go over to Micron. Well, Micron's actually kind of stares higher lows on Micron. Okay, that's not the one then. Got to find something that is working. Eloy's saying Alphabet's flying.
Alphabet's flying? Okay. Good trade on AMD. I mean, those are the levels that you want to do, man. I mean, that 180, great to pick that one up. I was saying as well, like that 180, 150. Remember, like that was a great one, and then waiting for that at 180.
Where do you see where Google bounced just
now? So I'm going short 180 through this. So I'm going to go short through this level. I put on a decent amount of shares. Let's just see what happens here. I mean, again, you know, I don't know, man. I mean, the algo team keeps phoning me.
It is very weak.
But there we go to the downside. Here we go. So we are now in this bad boy right now to the short side. It just flashed into the 70s. We know it can get lower than that. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Right there, let's go. Bye-bye. See you later for this one as it's starting to go to the downside right now. So we're all short everything. Bye-bye, AMD. Apple's trying to get there right now. It's trying to get to that dollar club right now. But AMD, man, I told you we were using damn shares. There's one thing about being afraid, there's one thing about being confident, and there's one thing about being him. You have to take shares when plays break. Neil talked about that 180 did not look strong, so I was like, hey, man, good for that. We take that short, and bang, there it is right now. It's a nice trade for AMD, and you can get out of that one if you want. I sure as hell am. We are now out of half of that AMD trade, and kablooey kablam, there goes AMD down to the downside, but here it comes right back up. That's why you got to cover a little bit. We're going to watch out for that 181. I mean, net, this could be an L if it goes up there and takes out that 181.50, wherever that 200 period moving average is. There it is, coming back up through 180. We'll take another short, but it won't be until it gets closer to that 181.
If it takes it again,
Man, that was fun. There we go to the downside again. Oh my God, we did not reload that. Man, are you having fun yet?
Just a heads up, some of the chip names have made a pullback in here, by the way.
Sorry about that.
Not the chip names, EV names.
I didn't realize. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No. The EV names are right back. Some of them to square one. Remember we said make sure you're taking some profit in the downside. So Rivian just got back to 15. It just wicked the top. If it holds 05s, I probably jump back into it. I just hit 90s on the way back and didn't get filled on AMD. I'm still going to pick that up. Sometimes a second break, I mean, it's pretty convincing. The market feels like it wants to go red. I feel like Lucid and Fisker, I'm not in Lucid, but Fisker, it feels a little bit safer to hang on to the shorts. I did get most of it out at that bottom. Rivian's the one that I think would concern most. All I was getting at with Google was the 150 bounce. It bounced off 150 very, very clean. Like that was the higher low was exactly at 150. I'm going to cancel my AAL bids for now, but it is continuing to trend up. If it holds 15, then that's the entry for me. If it holds at 15, I'd probably go off the 15 level. I'd rather VWAP if we can get it. But if the only trade is to play off the 15, you know the trend is to the upside. So the secondary push just came back through on AMD, so we'll short that. But watch out for that Rivian. There's something about the Rivian move that is a little different from the other EVs. I know it's down, but that bounce was a little bit more violent. So I want to give some respect. I just keystroked out of all of AMD. Oh, come on.
Oh, shoot. AMD is a big money.
That's the worst 50-cent winner ever.
Yeah,
well, 60.
Yeah, that's okay, man. Take 50 cents. We're in the money about $1. We do have happening now with Adara. And after that, man, we're going to do roll call. Thank you so much for all the talk in the chat, man. There's reasons why we're here. Let's go, Adara.
Very lively day for the market so far. We did just get in these new home sales numbers. So new home sales coming in 0.664 million versus the expected 0.64 million. So just slightly higher than expected here. New home sales month over month. 8% increase, exactly as expected there. We also have some more economic data coming tomorrow. Definitely will be on watch, including that core PCE index. In terms of the SPY, not reacting too much to this information. We are slightly positive on the day, up about 0.5% right now, and lots of earnings on the horizon. Earnings season's back in full swing here. American Airlines, one of 3 airlines reporting this morning. This one up about 8% after beating pretty much across the board here. Another earnings move to keep an eye on, Comcast, CMCSA. This one also providing an earnings beat today, guys, up about 5%. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right, guys, first of all, thank you so much. B. Davis, he got me lit right now. He's talking about it. We just got that housing number as well. Thank you so much, guys, for everything. I'll check my heart rate now. I'll show it to you guys in a second here, what it's at. It's not that high. Here we go, guys. Just thank you so much for everything. Sean spitting, markets taking to the downside. Look, sometimes you know, we have losers here as well. So this is very, very, I'm trying to make my trading as easy as possible to follow. Right? Like, I can't, there's not much else I can say. Like I said, we were shorting 180 on the break. So it breaks 180, there it is. I mean, my rapid outs, I understand, are gonna be very, very hard to follow, but the ideas are gonna be very, very simple. It's literally why we have the sticky note out. Like when Tesla broke this 189.50, I said that's gonna be my out. And we also talked about watching out for this 188 bounce zone there as well. We're gonna reload some Tesla here in a minute. And then Apple, I mean, I don't think we can be any more clear on some of the Apple trades. And then PayPal's the only one that I'm kind of like, wondering about. Like, we took it out basically for, I think it was a 15-cent hit there and then a 15-cent winner, and it's just kind of hovering right now. So yeah, man, that's what I was talking about the show. Really easy to follow, and I just hope that you guys are seeing some of the trades that we're putting on, understanding some of these levels. Like, there's some outs at 179.30. Now we'll look to reload it, but we're waiting for this 181.50. If that breaks, like I said, we're gonna get out of this trade. So it could turn out to be a loser, but right now, there's that call. Like I said short right up here, 17,720. So right now, it's only downside. I told the algo room, turn on those damn shorts. And then now, the longs might be right as well. I have no idea what they're doing. And I'm just playing around. I should have shorted the futures myself. But we picked on a few stocks, and so far so good here as they continue to make the moves down. So let's just wait to see what happens. AMD is getting strength again upside. We're going to wait for 180, like 70 or so to try to get into this short, which is right about here. But for right now, there it goes. You can't, honestly, this is the one thing I learned from yesterday. Remember I made all the money short on AMD? And then all of a sudden, it closed basically near highs, right? So you can easily give this back if you don't play a little more conservatively. So just be careful. Marquez, what does short mean? I mean, you borrow the stock, so you're thinking the stock's going down. I don't mean to sound crazy, but we're not. You just have to Google that. That's a very, very easy one. What is long and what is short? So look that up, and then it'll make more sense about what we're doing at the bottom.
It's just to bet the stock's going down. So like my only loss today is going to be ironic, but you've got to stick to your rules. I took 2 shots at Square, and the third one would have been good. I will be the bottom. Like I like the long off 62, but it broke it a second time, and when it made that fresh low, I got out. So we'll still have to fail on it. If you hold with a bigger, wider stop, you're probably okay. By the way, it's rejecting VWAP in here, so I just want to get that out of the way. Watch out for that. This stair stepping to the downside. I know I like the long, but that looks a little bit weak. I didn't just get, okay, never mind. AMD did not get anywhere near 181. So the long off 180 stalled. There was a big seller at 181. So if it breaks out there again, I'm anticipating, when I was long, the seller was obvious in front of 181. So I'm anticipating the same thing. If I see it get up in there, if I see the same thing, you'll probably see me flash 70 short, 75 short, somewhere in that range. I did reload Rivian, but I made sure there was actual weakness at 15 before I did it. Because remember I said Rivian felt different? Well, it got above 15, and then once the buyers stopped, reshorted it underneath here at 98. So I still have Fisker, I still have Rivian, I still want to hang on to it. But remember, these are making some pretty distinct bottoms. And Tesla, which I don't want to forget about, was trying to rally. It just failed to 190, which is another good sign for the short in the EVs. Here comes that 181 as we speak.
Yeah, remember I was saying, I even whispered over, well, I mentioned to Neil when he said he got out of that. I was like, you know what, AMD's probably going back up, so we may get some more reload
Well, it was a
potentials.
keystroke that
I know, but sometimes they work out actually, right? So there we go. We'll wait to see, man. We're going to give some back here as it's starting to go up to the upside right now. But what's not giving anything back, and Neil just mentioned it right there, that's crazy. 190.63. I wasn't even looking at it. We're at 190.95, so we're going to have to go back up there somewhere to see if that's filling or not. All right, so here we go, man. All right, here comes AMD, man, right back up to 181 and change. And like I was saying, hard to hold good names down as there it goes, breaking through 191. We were waiting for a little bit more up there. We're going to give it to 181.50, but it looks like I said, man, winner turned to loser very, very soon right there as AMD goes up and down through that level of 181. 181.50 is just right there. So we're going to see if that holds or not.
So I was just the same thing for me on that I did on Square. The sellers the first time weren't there, so I jammed out when it broke 80. Then the second, it broke and did not get above this last peak, which is 181.30. I jumped back into the trade with establishing it off of this high. So first time was a false break. I just jumped right back in the same trade. So give up 20 cents so that I'm not in it if it goes to VWAP, but then jump back in the trade. If the buyers show up at 180, I think that's a pretty, scalp to that level to be sure. This market is definitely wild. Zach Lowe, appreciate the super chat there. It's crazy that we haven't even talked about Lamb. Thoughts on LRCX? We didn't mention it when we were going over the chips in the show, but it's not much of a day trading stock because unless you're trading options, because it's $900. But they did beat top and bottom. It's breaking everything to the upside. I don't have to tell you 900's a big deal, right? It's a big psychological number. It's already rejected it once. That's not a breakout that I would take. The problem with that trade is, you're holding it $5 against you, and even then you're getting slippage. So I think you're risking $6 or $7 on Lamb if you take a $900 break. It's a big time level. I like the stock, I like the space, but you probably don't see me trading that one here today. So Rivian, well, didn't get any fills under VWAP there. Now it's right back above. And AMD just took out the top again.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying come on because it's like I'm going to lose. Yeah, I'm going to lose on AMD, but Tesla's the one that we should have loaded up on the short. Like that's again, I'm doing the same stuff where we murder the names on the sticky note and then go over here.
Look at Tesla.
Yeah, I'm looking at Tesla. That's what I'm saying. $4 in the money right now. But let's go over to the desk with Adair. I should have stayed away from the chip names. Another
interesting earnings name on the move here, XRX, this is Xerox. Q4 earnings miss across the board, lower than expected FY 2024 projections, and yet we're up 7%, now 8% on the day on XRX. Keep an eye on this one, guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, yeah, we're gonna get. I mean, we already have that 181. Oops. There. So first of all, there goes Tesla to the downside. I don't even. We still have the same shares. I mean, we punched out there. We should have reloaded there. We are at 191. I was waiting at the 200 period, but that just, as you just saw there, did not fill. All right, so we punched out there. AMD is now starting to go back up to the upside. We do have a small piece left, but AMD turns the day around completely because it just kept on ripping. We'll hold a little bit. We could make it back if this falls, but for right now, should have stayed away from the chip names. They weren't even really on the radar until it broke that 180. We should have hit it and quit it, but we didn't. Now you're right back up there. We just got that wick higher, so we're gonna wait to see about a 182 break, but still, man, like this is up 1.8%. Look at that. The shorts already won, and then now you're bouncing back up to the 50-period MAs. So you're gonna have to watch out. I mean, these markets are a little nuts right now for the longs in these chip names, especially heading into Intel earnings. Like you had a nice dip down in there to 620 as well on NVIDIA. So
should have been in a firm instead of AMD. The thing about AMD is it's actually still. You'll love this when I show it to you. AMD is still trend down. It's just maybe waiting. This is a three-minute chart waiting for the curl. Come to my chart for a second, Fabian. It's just maybe waiting for more of a curl here. You're still all green candles. It's whipping around. So going back to that short was probably the wrong idea. A firm 42. There's 42 yesterday. There's 42 in the pre-market. There's 42 just now. That is real, and it is spectacular this wick. Like the way that this just rejected 42, maybe it gets there a third time because it's a firm. I think I would take a shot at it a third time, but it has to get there first. I was just asking the chat if I'm upset that Square ended up holding and I took the L on it. Not really, because it has to come down to your execution plan. Was my plan to hold through consecutive bottoms at that 62? No. When I take that trade against the grain, I always have a hard stop. And once I set that hard stop, set it and forget it. If it holds, great. Like plenty of times you will make that bottom wick and it's just, that's life. There's other times it'll maybe bounce a penny or two away from your stop and then it rallies. That's all within the game, and it's all in the game, right? Just like they say in The Wire, it's all in the game. That's the cost of doing business. Sometimes it runs your stop and it goes higher. Other times you get the absolute bottom and you're laughing. Like if you shorted a firm at 42, like sometimes it wicks that top and you're like, what the heck? And other times it goes to 98 and you get a $1 winner or 70-cent winner, whatever it happens to be. You just got to be able to, you got to be willing to live with it. AAL, I'm not really pissed off at missing. You guys heard us say like we're going to focus on the EVs, which was the right thing to do at the open. So I'm not going to be mad at it. I don't know how far I want to chase this. Once it gets to 10%, I'm starting to think about either VWAP or it's got to be the previous break high, which is still this 15 area. So it's very much in play to go dip buy off of this original breakout, or we get into VWAP here for some kind of a dip buy. So I want to be patiently looking for those. Emmanuel, Nicola's moving. How far is that down today?
I mean, we could get a pop. What is it? Okay.
No, it's up today.
It's trying.
Why is Nicola up today?
What is this? Where are you located? Americas.
Look at me, America. Look how
there.
Tron is living. For the
Oh, man. That 180 long, man, that was the long there, as AMD is now back up to VWAP at 182 and going. Just about your Square talk there. We had PayPal written down there at 63. It did go down as far as 62.70, 62.80, sorry. They're making that bottom. So we'll take a piece out as it goes above VWAP. It did just hit 70s or so. I'm just making sure. My next offer is at 64, but I'm actually going to cancel that. Let's see if we can actually win on this name. Well, we won on it. We're up on the name. We're up on the name. That's not what I mean. I just mean like see if it can actually go.
Event's not till 12:30.
That's what I was going to get at. Let's see if we can hold this to you the reason why we're holding it. So we'll do that. But again, because it went down, we did get a little nervous on that, and we're going to get a piece out right now. Well, we did already at 54 there. So we'll hold out hope for that. Tesla's at its lows right now of the day. The only mistake, like I said, man, we'll make one mistake today and it'll be dramatic because it's AMD, but this is a nice hold here for Tesla. Mistake by not reloading it, but yeah, I don't even know what to do with some of these chip names as they just continue to rip upside right there. Here's AMD right now.
Chips are ridiculous.
182 and change just ripped. We told you we held about 25% of that, and they just got it out at 182. So 182 goes high side. We talked about it breaking VWAP. Bye-bye AMD to the upside right now, as it is absolutely flying right now. 183. Possible stopping spot. I mean, we are off on this one. Market up.
AMD is absolutely full. Like, I mean, the chips, even Intel, I just looked at Intel, that just held as well, and that's continuing to go higher. So I gotta be patient looking for a short in Intel if I get that 50. Rivian's back under VWAP. We did take a fill. I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. Kind of did that last time to that bottom. I thought we'd see 1450. We saw 1460. We get down into 75s. I got a 77 bid, and then we'll grab that. PCSA, I'm there for you, Tisha. Things have calmed down a little bit. For a hot minute. Oh, someone just got filled for 72,000 shares at 182.50 on AMD. They just, who bids that kind of a lot? Like, you can get anything you want without, you can hide your order, dude. Anyways, PCSA, it's already halted once. Bit of a runner here. This is a standard yada, yada, yada. We reverse split, did what reverse splits do, and now we're breaking out that split high. I always say the same thing here. You can never go broke taking profit. That's the first thing. The second thing is once it's already broken that post-split top and gone screaming, look back to that for first support. All of that has already happened in my estimation. It made the break. There's your halt. It then held down in front of that first break support, which is about that 420 level. So VWAP sits at 420. I don't like these trading when they're not consolidating because then you can't really do risk to reward. So it has to be off that 420 for now. There's no levels to work with. It's past that split price. So you're just sort of playing with air. Oh, and by the way, remember when we were like Boeing, look for some fades? Well, there weren't the fades I wanted. And nothing back into that previous support level. Obviously 217 in the review, but 200 is in play. We're at 202. We could see that 200 level very quickly. I'm very likely to be short Intel pretty soon here. AMD's now at 183. That is quite the recovery. So the Intel pre-market high is about 50.15. I didn't short it then. I'm just looking for the curl to go short now. Insane. What a bounce on the chips.
It's amazing.
You can the way you can buy the dips right now on the chip names, it's wild. And if you've been trading for a while, wow, that's all I got to say.
I guess we can always wait to see. I mean, that's the whole thing about waiting to see maybe what Intel has in store for everybody tonight. I mean, these names just continue to be obviously wild rides. So we'll wait to see what does happen here now with these chip names as they are on one. We just try to nether short, obviously, as we are an idiot. And we keep on trying this with AMD. But here it comes right back in. We've already made back a little bit here, but it just dipped and then got bought. Wow. Wow, AMD. That was what a move. Like, that's nuts. We just got to fill this stock, honestly. We just got to fill down there at 36 on AMD, and then it ripped back to 183, like immediately there. So this is like, you got to, you know, I'm happy to get out when
it's like
we're not.
Ron Burgundy in the bear pit.
From Anchorman, right? Obviously.
Yeah, from Anchorman.
With Ron Burgundy.
It's like he jumps in, it's like, I'm be a hero, and then like the second you're in,
doesn't he get his arm ripped off there?
It's like,
Yeah, I feel, so that is like.
No, he didn't.
Whoever the guy that gets, isn't that Steve Carell that gets his arm ripped off?
Owen Wilson in the second one in the melee loses his arm.
Oh, okay, well that's me.
I don't think anybody.
I'm Owen Wilson right now.
Oh no, Vince Vaughn loses. Is it Vince Vaughn loses his arm?
Hi, I'm Vince Vaughn. I mean, whoever gets maimed is me.
I love that.
But right now, AMD back
Get
in.
down.
Yeah, that was a good movie, man. They should make another Anchorman. All those guys are old, but that would be hilarious. Okay, I'm not looking at anything, but right now, Tesla right now, let's spin it, man. It's Quattro. It's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now for that name as it's going $5 in the money now for this as Tesla is Tank City again. Shout out to Portland, Rip City. We're going to see if we get a little bit of a move down now as the market just came. I'm going to take one more piece out there on AMD, and now we'll wait. Now, it was all a dream. Can we get back to 180? I'm not sure, because that would be a dream for me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yeah, you do that, Neil. Yes, we can.
Well, you can, whatever, man. You can do that too. Like, I'm the only one that can do an Obama impression up here.
You did a good one.
I don't even
you did a good one.
No, I don't do a good one.
I like that Boondock song again.
Okay, so
I'm going to be listening to that later on. One of my favorite
I would
songs.
100%, trust me, if it was okay to do on YouTube, I would sing that song for you guys. It's just, you know, there could be children watching. Intel back into VWAP. It's failed at 50 level. Get down at least until
Get up, get
VWAP.
down.
Look at the move on this chip name.
All right, one
and it's
more.
all of them, right? So it got to 50. The second it started curling, waited for some weakness, jumped in at 91s, and it got some at 92. My price is 91.5. Now we just got some 80s and then 70s. Hopefully this can continue to the downside. Rivian is still working in the short. It's like all the same stuff right now. Fisker, we're still in that. AAL, it's coming back in there. You know what? I shouldn't just be sitting at 15. I'm going to look for VWAP here. Maybe I'll wait for a bounce, kind of like Intel. It's all red. Look for it to actually make a low and then jump into that low. And then that's what it's all about. Chem, you could totally pull off James Brown. I don't have the dance moves to pull off James Brown. Absolutely. My brother can pull off James Brown. Yes, my brother is, he's quite the talented individual. Like, he actually is like a salsa dancing instructor. He makes kids TV shows as an animator. He rock climbs, and he's 6'3". I just sit in front of a camera and trade stock.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, he wins.
love you,
he
bro.
wins.
He does win. I've already told the story of what happened at my bachelor party with him on the guy's on the dance floor. I'm like, I'm the bachelor. You know this, right? And then he's in the middle with everyone around him, because that's how he rolls. I love him to death, man. Google is still ridiculous. 150, 150. Whoever mentioned this one is breaking out. If the market takes out the highs, we've got to find some longs in Alphabet. It's above the 150 level. It is now broken. Obviously, you can see it's broken out on the 50, on the 52-week highs, all that good stuff. So maybe 151 on a pullback. You just want to join it. I haven't gone long anything that wasn't square today, and that was a loss, even though I had the bottom.
Did we get more AMD? No, we did not. Okay, I was just trying to think about this, because we got another piece out there in the 30s. It does not look like it wants to break 182. So again, I told you we've already lost on this name, and it was not good. So we're just trying to make a little bit back. So that's what we did. We did make a little bit back there. But if this breaks, which is going to right now, 183, I mean, there's no point in sitting in this name as the markets come all the way back. So there it is, all the way back up to day's high. The short was right early, not right late. I'm still going to sit in this Tesla and wait for it. I don't even know what I'm waiting for at this point, but it just keeps on heading to the downside. We're now $6 here in the money as it's trying to break through 186 now. I mean, that next move down, I said that maybe we would start buying it in our own accounts after 3 days, but this could get to 170. I don't think it doesn't get there today, but 180, that's only $6 from here. Could get to that. Obviously, the market has to crack anywhere lower if we're going to get to that level as well. So, all right, we got another reload here on AMD. And like I said, probably we're starting to scalp a little bit out here as it's very, very close to stopping us out again at 183. So here it goes. Nice little downside move happening in AMD, but it's only 20 cents. So it needs to go down a lot more than that before we do any real damage. I'm still upset about that Affirm because we didn't look at it, but.
Well,
I mean, we looked at it.
You can't get them. You can't get them all. That's a pretty gorgeous looking trade. But the other thing that we're not really looking at right now, with the exception of, I suppose, Fisker, is a small cap. Let's go to Adara and get the small cap recap.
Nice look for the IWM up on the day here for the Russell 2000, up about 1%. It's a little bit stuck at this level, but overall very much to the upside with lots of small cap runners today, including PCSA, Processa Pharmaceuticals, announcing the completion of a safety evaluation for one of its cancer treatments. This one up 160% on the day. We also have Vera Therapeutics, VERA. This one getting an outperform rating and a $26 price target from Oppenheimer, and also announcing some positive data for one of its treatments. So another really good look here. Last but not least, we do have LUV, Lumen. This one announcing some debt refinancing and reorganizations here. Also very strong to the upside today, guys.
It's bad enough. Yeah.
Thank you very much there, Day. So Sharif, that's Sharif's nickname for Adara. I think it's a cool nickname, but part of my only reason like I'm reluctant with it is because Day is obviously from Friday, and that's Mike Epps. But these chips are relentless, and I got out of half Intel. I wish I'd got out of all of Intel at that bottom. Now we're retesting the 50 level. So this could be the shortest offensive of all time if it retakes that 50. I don't even want to, these are so strong, I don't want to hold this to the pre-market high anymore. So I'm going to give it the stop. I'm going to give it the even dollar stop. And because I'm tightening up the stop, I'll reload it because I'll risk a little bit less in terms of growth. But if it actually starts failing here, I'll try to reload it. Rivian looking okay. Where did that just bounce? Nope, never mind. Rivian did not bounce. Incorrect. That was factually incorrect, Neil. Rivian did not bounce off 1480. I got filled, and it's continuing to head lower. It's a bit of an inside joke in our fantasy football league. A certain dude who has no clue any facts. This market is absolutely flying. I wish I got no longs as the market. What's crazy is it's been a good morning, despite the fact the market's up, and the one long I had was a loser. It's just, sometimes it's weird like that. I don't know what to tell you, but I think that's because like Fisker actually failed a lower high. I'll slap the fail on myself. See this move back up in Fisker? I could have reloaded this off the pre-market lows instead of going over to Rivian and reloading Rivian at 15. Now both work. One is just better. Fisker is the lower hanging fruit. I said this yesterday. Like if you have an opportunity to play a sympathy play and you're shorting it and it's a weaker stock, or you're long it and it's a stronger stock, then just go ahead and trade that one. In this particular case, Fisker is worse than Rivian 10 times out of 10. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Caterpillar, CAT making new all-time highs. Not seeing any specific news on this one, but lots of discussion here on social media. Jim Cramer also speaking positively about the stock for the year 2024 yesterday on CNBC. CAT.
57.62.
Meta 95 maybe?
I just got a new position on right now. We shorted Amazon. It's because like honestly, like I like the short in this market up here. We talked about that, but I'm just tired. Like now AMD cranks lower. Like this has been a disaster trying to short that name. So I'm just going to go over to something else right now. We just got some Amazon down there at 157.03, which is not a big trade, but let's just see if it comes off of this 157 sort of high right there, right? If we can hit that, we'll go in more short in and around 30s and then give it to 50. But like, I like this trade. Let's see if it can work out. It's going to be Amazon here off the open. So off these levels off open. So we'll see. Again, it's a nice move back. Amazon already, we know it has the sort of the pedigree to get down here. Let's just see if it does. So that's one play that we're waiting for. Tesla, we're still in it. PayPal's gone up, and now it's come back down. So we'll wait to see where it goes here, but we're still in that one. And I went to Amazon, but maybe it should have been Apple for the short. And I don't even know why. I want to look short now because we've retraced all the way back up, but it might be better to wait for some longs to pull back in again and then hit the long again, because these longs are not stopping. I mean, the NASDAQ is up again today. Like, I don't know how many days in a row this seems like it is, but we are well up. Okay, there's Amazon. Now we have a full position. Let's see what happens. Of course, I go short Amazon when AMD starts pulling back. So right now, I guess we're just picking the wrong names, but we'll wait. We've got that 157.50 on our mind.
So I said I wouldn't give it past that 50. I did not on Intel there. I did reload it right at 97s, but then the second it broke out, you can see on the chart here, not giving it to the pre-market high. It's strong in earnings, up 2%. This market takes out the top. I did think 51 was a bigger level, so I can always work back to that 51 if it goes. It got to VWAP. I had a chance to get more out there at the bottom and elected not to. Thought we could trend down a little bit further. So we're back to square one, which is short a couple of EV names. At least that's like what the good thing about it is, like the core of when you sit down in the morning and Tesla's down that much of short the EVs, that's maintained itself the entire way through. But I don't regret a lot of things. We always talk about you don't regret the trades you missed, but like Google 151. Look how clean the break is at 151. That's pretty darn clean. Like it's like the bottom wick here on that candle is 85.
Right.
You're really, I don't know, depending on your trading style. I don't think there's nobody that, the way breakouts get traded traditionally, from my experience, there's almost nobody that could have lost a 151 break on Alphabet. And it's still just trending to the upside. There's like one red candle on my 3-minute chart. So like that'll, you can have a good morning, but I'm always looking at that and kind of disappointed. Alibaba, just because we've been ignoring this is now down 2% in Flushing. So I suppose that was short-lived, that bounce to the upside, that breakout, all that stimulus talk. Well, alert to 73. 73 was the big level last time we were down here. So if it gets to 73, that's where I would look for a bounce play. So I'm going to wait for Intel to get up to that 51 before I even think about shorting it again. I still want to try dip buys on some of these strong stocks if they can go. I'm running out of time and patience with AAL here to even think about VWAP. I just want to get, like, VWAP is what held the first time, so I'd like it to get back down there. The closer VWAP gets to the 15 even, probably the more I'm going to like it. So I'm not gonna throw good money at bad and all that stuff. We're going to be patient with our levels. It's 10:30. That's the time that you don't want to be. For me, I don't want to be over trading at that time. I want AAL to come back to me. I want some of these big cap tech names to come back as well.
Yeah, we're working this Amazon trade. I mean, we're not out of it. We don't even have any bids yet. We are bidding in the teens if we get something out at 16 actually, and then just to take that 10 cents, and then we'll wait for 157. We already got that bid once, but now it's kind of like holding up again. So, I'm picking this one. It's down against the market here. I mean, I like all the big cap names here. I mean, all these Mag 7 names have been absolutely fantastic. And that makes me think, like you just mentioned, Google never gone against you on the long. The AMD bounced off 180 pretty clean there, obviously, as now it's back up to this 183.50 again. Like, here's that major short. We cashed on that, but then just gave it all back shorting. And then we were able to catch some nice down drifts there, but ultimately, it's like you're just sitting in it, and all you do is you just see it going like this, and it's like, oh my God, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes, and then the next thing you know, there it goes, back up to the upside. Let's check out NVIDIA quickly because, again, maybe it's Meta. We talked about Meta earlier. We'll have a look at that, but look at this. There's NVIDIA right now, right up to day's high again, up another 2%. Like, I'm just as amazed as this, probably as many of you, or maybe you guys are all like, yeah, no, shh.
Oh, ARM should have been a shorted.
Right there, but I'm really surprised. Keeps on going up like every day, and I wonder if it's just people are uncertain about where to stash their money, and any kind of a down move, they just say, okay, market's down, time to buy up chip names. That could be possible as to what's happening here. So all these downside moves, people are rushing to these Mag 7 and obviously names that have been working. So here we go again, upside right now for NVIDIA. But all right, let's go over to the desk with Adara.
Just a quick look at Mara here. Actually up on the day, but definitely lower than that 16.3 area we hit earlier. Right now, we're just kind of chopping and turning around 16. Interesting that we're up on the day because we do have Bitcoin just shy of 40,000. So third day in a row, we're kind of chopping and turning around that area. Certainly of interest here, just around that 39,000. 850 area, so just shy of 40,000. Ethereum also down below that 2,200 area, notably. Pretty mixed performance for the rest of these cryptocurrencies, but mostly negative here. Cardano down about 1%, Doge down about 2% here. Tron here, TRX up about 2.5%, guys.
All right. I found something because I'm looking at the market at these tops. I'm like, okay, well, if I think something can curl, one of these things is not like the other. And if you've looked at each, like I just saw ARM almost get to $80 from like 76. But Marvell is down on the day. It's negative. It just tried to go green. That is 72.25. So this name, short off 72.25. You look hard enough, or I just look up at this wonderful community and see someone type in Marvell. I'm like, well, I haven't looked at that stock today. Maybe it's relatively weak. So I like the 72.25 off that 15-minute and where it closed. It's above VWAP, so I probably needed to show me some lower highs and all that good stuff, which it looks like it's trying to do now to jump into some kind of a short in Marvell. But that's a weaker chip name. Until Intel gets to 51, I think that can be my huckleberry. And just to answer a question in the chat, I was just asked if I get the you look like Byron Allen, who's like a businessman a lot. I've never gotten that one before. I've gotten Don Cheadle, but I have a couple of uncles who are literally like doppelgangers for Byron Allen. I'll take his bank account though. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm down with all that too. I'll take anybody's bank account who is long all of these names right now.
Well, hold on a second.
Don't
What Mag 7 name are you not long in your personal account? Well, I know the answer to this already.
I don't know.
Do you own the futures? All of oh, just that.
Well, the futures is all of them, yeah. But no. The accounts are. I'm talking about day trading. I mean, I'm pretty sure like pretty much everybody's long-term accounts. I don't want to say everybody because some people aren't in tech, but the S&P's all-time highs. NASDAQ is all-time highs. I don't see a path.
Everybody's in it.
To not having some kind of a nice move here. I mean, Michael Burry could be shorting the Sox, which apparently he's doing. And I mean,
oh yeah, Scion Capital.
Yeah, Scion Capital. But I mean, look at this, man. Like when he came out with this short, and I'm not hating on, like I have no idea. I mean, I am hating on the position because it's all the way up. I'm sure he's hating on this position as well. But this has been really, you know, Michael Burry's a smart dude. And he's betting against this, and he's been betting against it at least since the beginning of the year. I can't remember the last time we saw his report.
Don't you think he's out, though?
I don't think he's out, no. But I don't know. I mean, if people know, I'd like to know myself. But
I don't know, man. We've all seen what that chart looks like, and the only reason I say that is I remember, and I don't have an opinion on him one way or the other, but I do remember that when things started to look like, yeah, you do cover a Tesla short, he got out of his Tesla short, and it just so I think the timing of it was like that was the exact wrong time.
Why don't we find out?
Well, you have to wait till like the next 13Fs.
Yeah,
I just think we don't know yet. So we could find out that he's out before these earnings all come through. But AMD's next week. So the question will become, would you like it to be short in front of AMD at that price? So I just got into Marvell. Yes, the stock you're staring at, Neil. As it broke through VWAP. It didn't matter that it broke through VWAP, but the lower high presented itself at the even dollar level. So I want to be short off that level. You're just a heck of a lot weaker in this name than anything else. All right, so I just want to get my stop order in there. So Marvell short, Rivian we're holding on to. Fisker, just a quick update on Fisker. It's back underneath VWAP. So I'm looking at this flat bottom at 75. Like the longer it holds this flat bottom at 75, you know what, forget about it. I'm just canceling this now. There's no point having a bid right underneath a flat bottom break. If it breaks that, it's probably giving me the 74. Don't need something above 74.5. If I want that, I might as well just take the out of 75. So the longer it goes sideways, the more likely I am to hold it. So the new position for me was Marvell because it was so weak relative to the other chip names.
Like I was just saying, like, come on, Amazon, like really? So we just, like nothing, like I said, man, they're just buying it up. They're buying okay, get down. They're buying this damn thing up. Hopefully this tanks, honestly. We have a great position on right here for Amazon, and it's a big position for me. So let's just see if it falls down. I mean, that's why I'm starting to cash out of it. I'm actually already out of 35% or so. I just got fed up. Like, well, first of all, not fed up. We got the fills we were looking for, man. We got 05 just now. We just got an 05 fill. So, you know, as we said, we do not, like, if this goes dollar club, then AMD is a thing of the past. We don't give two shits about it. But hopefully this will start to come back in a little bit here because this is about where it's the risk to reward is right. I just have another 07 bid. There it is. Okay. So now we're starting to be right with it because our stop is 50s. We're short at 34. 15, 16 pennies. If we could take 30 here, that's 2-1. We'll take it for now and then hope that we can get back into this 50-period moving average. As look at the futures and look at Amazon. Amazon, yes, sir. Amazon was, I was going to say, it's actually holding up right there before it just broke. I'm going to put another piece out there at 98. We'll take it. We're also at 94 right now for this flush. Yes, we needed that, guys. We needed that. Trust, we needed that. So there it is. It's a nice move down there for Amazon. That's a good one. Oh, man, it's AMD is the one that, oh, come on, AMD. That's crazy where we are now. But, hey, you don't hold it, you don't get to complain. So there it is. It's a nice move down for AMD as if. But we had stopped it. We had stopped the pain at 183. And then this happens. Come on, man. All right, well, you know what? At least we're $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 right now in the money on Tesla. So, like, we are not stressla. We are watching Tesla get down to the downside there. That's a shame about AMD, but lesson learned. Do not short that thing while it's just ripping into oblivion. Wait till you get some kind of a top. And again, that was not a hard one. That was not hard. Like, these shorts make no sense whatsoever when you look back at it. So I'll be better for everybody, I promise.
That's sort of the thing. Every day you're just trying to get better and better as a trader. I'll tell you right now, like, I mean, I can look back and, you can adjust to how we every single day are looking at big cap tech, and then when that move happened, I didn't have a single long on those. But you got to stick to your overall plan, and I was looking for some fade plays. Marvell, again, if it's a weak stock, like short weak stocks, long strong stocks, if you can, it broke VWAP, we're already going to get the low of the day. Now the reason I'm jamming out of the trade because 71, a pretty significant level. It was yesterday's support. It was the 2 days before that on the week. It was resistance. You had a close price as well. So you've got a lot of oomph behind this 71 level, and the overall trend in the stock is up. They don't report until NVIDIA is the 21st, so I want to say the 22nd, because Marvell is always at the end of the cycle. So I'm just I could be wrong about that, but they don't report for a while. But my style of trade for something like this is if I see at this time of day, a big support level, I'm jumping in and out of it. Ring the register. It was a weak name, so shout out to everyone in the chat that was like, hey, these are the other things that are moving that you're not looking at. This is one that never got off the schneid. If there's specific news about Marvell while it's down 2%, great. If there isn't, who cares? It was a weak stock when all of the other ones looked really strong. Oh, by the way, remember SMCI?
Grazie.
This is about as calm as SMCI has been in a hot minute. Only a $10 range for SMCI today. Yeah. I have a funny feeling if it breaks that $10 range, it'll be a $20 range within like 20 or 30 minutes. But that's just an observation. The stock has not been that calm in a while. So in and out of Marvell. If it comes back into the upside, we'll probably take it again. And then we're back to only short in the EV names.
Yeah. Come on. Like, honestly, Amazon? All right, you're going to bounce again off? Not like, this is so crazy. I was waiting for a bid at 86 there. It just bounced off 90s again. Like, all right, we're not going to get frustrated. We're just going to hold this because ultimately, if it's going to work, I have a bid down here at 66. We were just bidding 86s. It just bounced. I think it bounced off 88s there. I mean, we can find out whatever that bottom was right there. Yeah, 88s. So that's crazy. We just missed that. But that's okay. We're going to wait. And if it does break back above here, we'll get out. We will actually still be up on Amazon. So right now we only have, we have a decent amount, but it's not a whole heck of a lot. So we'll wait to see where we go on it. But so far, so good here with the Amazon short. We have about 40% left on that trade. So we'll wait. Like I said, we'll wait to see where we can go with it. But that's Amazon right now, trying to make those moves lower. So, all right, that's that. I don't have too much else on the go right now. Tesla's trying to go.
I was just cleaning up some stop orders and realized I still have my break short on AMC at $4.
Boom.
From the pre-market. It never broke. So just a quick recap here, because if this happens in the middle of the day, this is $4 on AMC. Okay, the stock isn't good. You guys know what's up. But since the split, it has a $4 bottom in a couple weeks ago. And then $4 today would be a fresh low. If it breaks that, it's not really a flat bottom break. It's a double bottom break. It's trending down, all that good stuff. So I'll probably be short like 98s or 99s, presuming we can get the fill. Don't think it was down more. It wasn't down more than 10% yesterday. I think it was just barely, so it shouldn't be SSR. Should be able to get that fill for breaks 4. Let's see what's going on with some other sectors other than tech with Adara and Sector Watch.
Definitely worth looking at this side of the board in terms of some interesting movement here. Health services all very much to the downside after Humana delivered its earnings. Lots of downgrades there and lots of these other names feeling the heat from that earnings call. Consumer durables, of course, led to the downside here by Tesla, but other names in the sector actually pretty strong in the green here. So worth noting, producer manufacturing strong as a whole. Caterpillar actually making new all-time highs today, so certainly an area to keep an eye on. Finance very strong as well. Health technology a little bit more mixed to weak here. with some weakness from Pfizer in particular. And of course, yeah, we do have to talk about these tech sectors as well. Technology services pretty much strong across the board. Adobe actually looking very strong here. And in terms of electronic technology, chip names strong again. Intel, watch out for those earnings tonight. Boeing also again to the downside after more news from the FAA with regards to those grounded 737 MAXs, guys.
Caterpillar is a bit of a rocket ship, but it is worth mentioning, like as on a day trade standpoint, Caterpillar actually broke its high, its 52-week high here. I still have this crazy wick on my daily so this is at 301-ish. It broke that high and it just rejected it back underneath. So it's a great upward trending stock. I love it. I own it, but you know, just as a trade, it did pull back. It might give a chance that, like, if the market continues to show strength, maybe back through 300, that would look good. Fisker still is Fisker, and it's back at those lows. If it breaks the low, I got to think 70 cents makes sense to me, because 80, I mean, this is 90 cents, that's 80 cents, so 80 cents to 70 cents. It's just try to keep it as obvious as possible. So that's that 80-cent level, the 70-cent level, I think becomes a little bit obvious. Intel just bounced. I saw the chips get back to the upside. I am thinking Marvell is going to be worth a reload if it gets back up to the top. But it wicked the bottom, needs to get back into VWAP, show me a lower high, and I'll jump back into that short. So I'm monitoring the chip names. If I see enough strength, like, look, I was short Intel before, but that's trend up. Marvell's trend down. We'll short that one if it gets back into VWAP. TT777, what is going on with Palantir? I don't know. I haven't looked at that today.
I looked at it. I didn't even realize it broke 17. Oh yeah, so it's nothing really. Well, it's actually near its bottom. Here we can
Not much.
We can look at it. I was just going to talk about Tesla bouncing over and over again off of 86. So, you know, watch out for that short.
Watch out.
All right, so Palantir. We talked about it here at $17 level, but we wrote that down again. We write this down between 8 and 8:30 or so as we look at some levels, and then we got that GDP number, and I didn't even realize right here at 8:30 that we actually just kept on cranking, and there's that 17 break. Like, that's the break that we're looking for in the middle of the day, or once the market's open, not necessarily in the pre-market. So if you took that at 9:20, then great, you got as high as 7:15, but that's a very, very tricky trade right there. Like, you're not taking that at 9:20, and then it just drops all the way down right there off open.
You could have that short.
Yeah, I mean, you could have thought about it in there, but now as you zoom back out, I guess to answer your question, I didn't see what it was specifically, but what's going on with it? I mean, if it breaks through this, then yeah, the short is on, but the market's not short right now, so that's the problem. So the market's up right here, up 60.6 right now, and Palantir is down. So I like the short, but the market has to participate. So I don't think you go short right here in the middle. If you're going to do anything, I would say you wait for this like 1685 VWAP. So get back there. But again, it's very, very tight. Like, there's not, Palantir is a much better trade once the market gets going for it.
I had a joke for that somewhere, but it wasn't that clean. So I realized in the chat it was Scott H mentioning, hey, AAL's at VWAP. So yes, I like a trending stock bouncing off VWAP, but I'd like to join buyers instead. Like, look at the candle, it just broke right through. There was no support anywhere here at 15 bucks. There was no support in the 90s when it got to VWAP. Haven't really seen a lot. That was a dark pool wick. I haven't seen anybody step up and look like they're strong buyers. So you still have like 1480, which was the original pre-market breakout high. As long as this is looking like a trend up, it can hold that support level, or it can regain VWAP. I'm not rushing into that trade. I think patience has been a virtue. Even on the stock that's the loser for me today, I felt like I was patient enough with Square. Maybe you should have just taken a third swing at it. You know, the old 3 strikes you're out rule. If I take it the third time, it would have been good. Square could get back to 62 as we speak, but let's be very patient with AAL. I like it. It's just I need to see the buy strength come in there. I feel like if you're looking for dip buys, like, you know, higher lows, all that good stuff, Microsoft, that previous top at 406 looks pretty good. The other thing, I kind of like Google a bit better because Google's just way stronger, man.
Right.
Like, you can think that, you know, VWAP is a good pullback trade, but sometimes you just have to take whatever pullback is given to you. Like, sometimes I'll say something like first available dip if a stock is really strong and you don't care what that happens to be. Like, once it's established its strength, that's your first available dip is right here at 151.5. It doesn't give you anything else. So it might be the same thing here. Now I got to look at the 152. If you can't get the level you want, go for the level it gives you. If I see buyers step up and drops 20 cents, might jump in, scalp trade, take it to the high of the day. This is the one. Right now, Google is the one.
And there it goes. We will get out of our Amazon as that just continues to go to the upside, but not without us taking some profit on this name. We talked about being 40%. Then we averaged it back in and it just went into the 20s again, and we were able to get some out. As there it is. It's just taking out sort of that pre-market level that we were looking at. Amazon now, remember when we were shorting it, it was like almost down 0.1 or 0.2, and now it's starting to go back to the upside here and trying to match the market. So we'll see. I feel like we've left Apple here on purpose. It's just back today's high. I just gotta. The problem really is that the short is not the trade. I mean, there's a lot of names setting up, I feel like, for the short. And you could short this against 196. I mean, that's the play that we kind of wanted in the first place there. But here it goes. It just seems a little silly trying to short all of these names over and over and over again. Amazon is, yeah, I mean, Amazon's slowly grinding right now. But Amazon was fine. That was fine. It was really just the AMD that just kept on going, and then eventually gave it up. I feel like this is still going to be a short up there if we get back to 183.50, but right now at 181, we're going to leave that one alone. And then I'm with a lot of you. I think that you want to try to catch this Tesla bounce for sure. And right now we may take out this 187.30 area, which is the 50-period moving average. To me, that would be like, okay, this is where it's like you maybe want to throw in the towel a little bit on it. But I still feel like we're still we're bouncing up again, we're still trying to make lower highs here, and here it comes trying to bleed one more time back in. So looks like Tesla's gonna be the one that gets hit here today. I meant to look at Rivian.
The 15.
Rivian. As man, oh man, yeah, that was the one that we should have looked at in the first place.
What was that?
I like that one.
Was there
that was like a slow move down
that
there.
That was like Looney Tunes or...
Yeah. I feel like we could have had a graphic for that. That would have been pretty hype.
It should be like Wile E. Coyote like falling or something.
Yeah. That would be sick if we could get that.
Well, maybe we can't do that because it's copyright or something.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Good point. Probably cannot. But all right. So Rivian, anyways, as we go, Wile E. Coyote to the downside. All right. Maybe enough is enough, and we'll just short some Apple here. We did wait for it a little bit. We got a little bit excited and was waiting for a little bit more near 196, but we just made this move. So up there, 195.60. We're going to get stopped out anyways if it takes out that 196. You can see here from the 20-minute chart. That 196 is, I actually have it, I think, at 196.20. Yeah, so if it breaks above, we'll appreciate that a little bit more. So we'll try it. We do want some more up here if it comes up to 195.60 right now, as the market's finally starting to look downside here a little bit.
Yeah, the market now starting to reverse. I thought I'd get Marvell at VWAP here because, I mean, the chips were so strong. You got that big move back up. It goes halfway. Short it halfway there. If I short it halfway there, I'll be living on a prayer. So I got to wait for this to get to VWAP. Stick to the plan, Neil. Boeing. Okay, so Tesla's about to break the lows. I think that makes, to me, Rivian and Fisker are holds for now as they continue to go lower. Have not sniffed out an entry into Boeing short, but look at the trend to the downside on Boeing. It is pretty clean. It's approaching. You're running out of space till it gets to this local bottom at 197.5. So maybe it'll give a pop and fade trade. But if this gets to 197.5, that's the only thing worth defending right now. The 200 levels kind of come and gone here. I think you got to wait till it gets to that low. Boeing under a lot of pressure. Let's see how the old USD is doing with Adara at the desk with Money Talks.
Nice pop to the upside for the DXY here. We did get that USA GDP quarterly data here coming in higher than expected, 3.3% versus expected 2%. We do have PCE data on watch for tomorrow, so the expectation for that is going to be positive 0.2%. We're going to have to see how that shakes out. But right now, really nice look to the upside for the US or the DXY here, up above that 103.50 area. Also worth keeping in mind, the USD and the euro relationship here. The ECB today, European Central Bank, holding rates steady, saying that they are not going to cut for now as inflation does remain high, but actually seeing a decrease for the euro USD relationship here. Nice move to the downside for that, guys.
So shout out to Sharif for mentioning just now, 395. There he is, in the white shirt. It's really like white shirt day, but nobody sent me the memo. Sean's shirt's striped, but it's like white with stripes. But Meta, this 395, it's not an iceberg, and it's not the round number that's holding, because you can see it's wicked this top like several times. But is general selling at the 395 level. The issue here is you can short this, understand that you can either have 2 stops or 1 big one at 395 and a half. Like, I don't think there's any way around it, but a nice general level there on Meta. I prefer to short a weaker stock if I could find it. Back to Adair, apparently.
Actually, have some news on Meta here. The governor of Indiana saying that Meta is going to be building a new $800 million AI-focused data center in Indiana. So just some context there for Meta, guys.
All right, let's have a quick look at that, because
That dropped pretty fast.
Yeah, finally, this is what we're looking for, is catalysts. So I dropped some Meta yesterday. I'm gonna have to find out what the price was, but it was yesterday like midday. It just keeps on ripping upside as well. All of these, yeah, so, well, probably a little bit better than where we're probably right about here anyways. I just wanted to see about that top yesterday. So it was 396. So again, probably better names to short than the chip names. Meta's more aggressive than the market. So for me, I'd rather play a dip buy in that name, but we have to be, hopefully Apple can come down. All right, so we're short Apple again. I just put a bid at 42, so that's where it was, and that's where it just bounced off of. So we'll see here. I only put it there now. It didn't bounce off me. I put it there once I saw. There it is. Okay, so here's a nice little downside push. So here we go again for Apple. We're $6. Bye-bye. There goes Tesla. Tesla right now breaks the bottom of the day. So we will, let's do this. Let's go. The market's a little red right now in that. We've got Apple moving down off that. Look at these shorts on Apple. Short, 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 out. Here's another short on Apple, pushing down to the 50-period moving average. But it's Tesla. We talked about this, man. Look at these shorts and then out. And then we took it out there, you know, for $3 off 192, that 188 break, 189 break. But right now we're still in this name, waiting for that bottom to break. We've been talking about it all day. It's Tesla, it's downside. We also had this one on the sticky note today as well, which was my #1 talk for the day here on the sticky note. You can see it right here. It was, again, we looked Tesla 190 short. It got as high as, what, 192 and change there, which we shorted again. And the reason why, there it is right there, we shorted it against that 200 period, which was 193. So this trade was about $1.30 so of risk, now $6 in the money. So bye-bye Tesla. Hopefully it continues to go down, man. I'm just planning on holding this all day, but not a bad out would be a break of this 50-period moving average, which is like at 187 right now. So see you later, Tesla. We're now $6.25 in the money.
Bye-bye Tesla. What I love about it is when Tesla breaks lower, it's going to take the others with it. So, you know, the first thing we sat down, we knew it was going to be an EV kind of day. I think we kind of stressed that. And look, Canadians apologize a lot. I'll apologize. I don't think we looked at the Mag 7 enough. But you know what? At the end of the day, these EV names, it's hard. When Tesla has those earnings, it's hard for them to be good. So you had to stick with that short. I don't really have a target that isn't $14 on Rivian, but as you broke that low of the day, if it breaks this consolidation, in case it does something stupid, I'm just going to sit in front of 14. I already have a trailing stop. It's double bottomed here. The difference between this and Fisker, I'll get to it in a second, is you're still holding this low while Tesla continues to go lower. Someone put in the chat, also Rivian has a high call buying apparently. I haven't confirmed that, but I just saw that in the chat. Maybe that's another reason it could go up. But I'm trailing it at 1470, and I think it's easier to say Fisker. I'd rather hold on to Fisker, the last 10%, for that to continue going and give it a chance to get to the 70-cent level. It's just Fisker is different. It's built different. It's built worse as far as I'm concerned. And yes, Tesla is SSR, but that hasn't really mattered. So yes, it's 10% down, so it is SSR, short sell restricted. If you want to go short Tesla, you need an uptick. I was in it a couple times for scalp trades. I did not get in it. My area was 181, so 191. The chance to get it was right in here when I was reloading the other two EV names. But you pick your poison. I like to say the stock that works best for me is the one I want to go back to. So that's my general rule. It doesn't matter. As long as you were short and sticking to the shorts in the EVs today, you were fine throughout this up move in the futures. And the futures have been strong. Someone just said Baba long here. I keep saying Baba, and it's...
They say Baba or Baba?
It's Alibaba, but there was a trader a former trader on the floor who always said Baba, and now I just keep saying it, and it's like my entire. That's on me, man. I shouldn't be blaming it on Ian. But Alibaba, I thought 73 would be where the bottom. So I'm looking at 73 for Alibaba. If it gets down there, I might take a shot at the long trade. But keep your shorts on these EV names. They've looked fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man, they look fantastic. Wow. Still making moves. All right. So there's the short again on. I'm more honestly. I mean, Look, Tesla's going to be the #1 name. I mean, that's a no-brainer there. You can't have something that's $7 in the money and not be your #1 stock. Apple though is trying to catch up, and it's not going down. But we just got some more out there. It's still up on the day. It's following the market. The market's above VWAP. I don't love shorting stock when we're above VWAP like this. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing, man. And on that note, I'm going to put another bid at 36. Look, I really hope it comes down. We'll just keep on scalping out like 20, 30, 40 cents. And then hopefully, well, not hopefully, we will have some on. Like, so I have a bid now at 36 and another bid at 22, then another bid at 13. Like, if it continues to fall down, then that's what you know what? I'm going to cancel that 22 bid. Let's take a piece out here in the 30s, and then hopefully we'll break that, and then we'll talk about something down here again. And we'll get, I mean, that's why we're at 13. We just talked about that on VWAP. So hopefully that will come back in, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But thank you so much, Chelsea, for that. You want to spin the money? Let's do it right there. It's $7. I mean, we've done this many times before, but this is a nice one here today because it's earnings, and I normally don't trade earnings. But not only that, it's also the #1 name on the sticky note there today. There was no reason for me to get out of that trade. It's continuously going to the downside. We're going to have to watch out for it though right now because it just keeps on making lows. It just keeps on going. Like there's going to be, like, after the show, I'll probably step in and buy a little bit more Tesla down here at this level. And I just feel that at some point, the ramping up on this name, people are going to, wow. All right, well, now we're almost 7 in the money. People are going to start to buy this name up at some point. Or are they? You're now down SSR, down 11%.
Eventually, it's just a matter of where.
We have literally, I mean, almost the high of the day. So feel like we should probably hold on to this now, $7 in the money.
It just continues to drive to the downside, for lack of a better pun.
Yeah.
But a shout out in the chat. There's obviously these other things moving. UNH doesn't normally move this much. So
what?
Yeah,
that was
earnings. No, I know Humana had earnings as well and tanked their earnings last week, I think. I think UNH is better than them. So I own this in my long term, and I've been looking for a place to add to it. I guess that's going to be incoming. I'll give it a chance to settle down, but this stock in the 450, 460 range has been gold. So wow,
that's a buy for sure.
This is like to be honest with you, someone said in the chat, for the love of you know what, short the pops on UNH. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I saw it was down 6%. So at the end of this show, I'm probably putting a stink bid in my personal account. Give it a couple of days, and maybe I'll just buy it anyways. Underneath the 200 period moving average, that's a big breakdown for UNH. It's already 11 o'clock. It's been crazy. Zion Lala, thoughts on Google Long. I am looking for a dip buy on that one. Want to be patient with it. It's that time of day you don't want to necessarily overtrade. We're going to head on over to the professor and Adara. I'll be on at 12 to give you your lesson of the day, and then you'll see us back at 2 o'clock where we'll do it all again into the close.
So big size on Tesla, 185. Big size.
Huge size. Half a million shares. Let's go to level 2 for a second.
Yeah, just right here. So we're gonna watch out for that. It's gonna get, it's done. Like, it's not huge size because we've done 90 million shares, and as soon as 85 goes on the bid, it will disappear.
If it wasn't SSR, that's
someone will. Yeah, well, I still think people will sell into that. Like, watch this.
It'd be gone already.
This is 200,000 shares gone in just a couple seconds, probably. Nah, it's still holding. Okay. So there we go. Look at all the dark pools. Like, it's crazy. So now you'll get a little bit of a bounce back upside right now. And then you'll probably, the next time through, that's probably a short. But like Neil said, if you're not short already, you have to play these pops.
Yeah, you can't hit that bid unless you're long.
Yeah, so if you want the short right now, just offer 05s and you'll get it. But right now, here it goes. It is going to go through. So, all right, man, this is a $7 winner, and we're liking it, and we're liking it a lot. And we also like something called the Midday Show. And you're going to go there right now. Ciao, Tesla. Ciao, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade.